Okay, so we're gonna be popping back into some Project Zomboid. It has been a while. I am the Rusty. So we definitely are going to not take any time to consider what save we're loading up and, you know, warm up, think things through, or any rational approach to this to make sure we don't kill our extremely long character. Instead, we're going to say YOLO, as the hip young kids say. And I actually think YOLO is already way out. But we're going to go ahead and say YOLO and just jump right onto our character that has been surviving for a year and some, like, 7 or 8 months or whatever it is. And jump right into it, go right into a fight. That's how we do it. But to catch her up to what this character is, this is our character, Venus Orozco. Roleplay-wise, she is a fashionista. This has nothing to do with anything, but it's just kind of one of those things. But this character, I want to say we're at 170-something zombies killed. Yeah, 173. I had said 174 earlier, but it's 173,000 zombies killed over the course of 1 year, 7 months, 20 days, and 11 hours. And you might go, oh my god, you must have cleared half the map by now. Let me show you how much I've cleared. If by half of the map you mean about not quite half of Louisville and nowhere else of the entire map, literally this character has never left the Louisville exclusion zone at any point. All right, Red, it's good to see you. And no, don't worry about it. Like, it happens. It's a big bummer. This character almost ate it twice. The thing that caused me to take a big break from this character the first time was my mouse's right mouse button was going out, which will absolutely kill you in a run. And I had 2 close calls, one which resulted in a scratch, and it was like, nope, we're off this character till the mouse gets replaced. And then, you know, by the time the mouse got replaced, we had already moved on to other things. But yeah, as you can see with all the notes on the map and everything here, this character has lived a long life. They've done many things. But generally speaking, all those areas that are revealed on the map are mostly cleared of zombies. We are just pushing into Louisville. I honestly don't expect to clear Louisville before build 42 happens. I just haven't been playing the game enough to really accomplish that. But what I do want to do is, if we go in here, is I do want to take... This character was a 0 to hero character, which means we started with no stats. I do want to hit 10 strength, and I do want to hit 10 spears. Because we started with literally nothing on this screen, and we are juiced because of how long we've been fighting. Alright, so I'm at 81 kilograms. So let's get that. How am I doing on my spear count? Let's make sure we are good. Let's go ahead and eat that stale rabbit before it goes bad. We do not have enough spears is where we're at. I also would like to finish with the spears, if for no other reason than I could stop using spears forever. Okay, so you didn't have water there, but you do have water here. Wow, you pour real slow from that. So that's the spare. Okay. And make sure generator's doing fine. That generator needs to be repaired. Do I have circuits here? Or electrical components, whatever the heck they were called, electrical parts. Alright, so we need to turn you off. We need to repair it. Because you've been taken aback by your pronunciation of Louisville. You looked it up on Wikipedia. The correct pronunciation, Louisville, hotly debated. The 3 most popular pronunciations are Louisville, Louisville, or Louisville. Yep. Alright, I think we were good so far as the helicopter, because I want to say we had the helicopter right at the end of last stream. Alright, so I don't remember what the heck we were doing. All right. And I very much look forward to the winter being over. Like, winter as an aesthetic in this game is nice, but I definitely get tired of it after a while. It's just everything's very the samey. Okay, so you have snow later in today. We got snow tomorrow. And we've got a thunderstorm imminent in 2 days. That usually includes the day you're in, so... That does mean we're looking at thunderstorm probably in-game tomorrow, so probably, usual game mode is 6 months later? Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, starting for the challenge in winter is nice, but it is just one of those things that after a while you're like, you know what I want to see? I want to see the ground. I want to see a color other than white. Make my world a little bit more interesting than just white. Alright, so what we're doing is, I'm not going to really focus on what direction we're going about. We're just going to go north until we run into zombies. You see green too? Not really. This is not much green. My point being is, it's really kind of just one color versus during the rest of the year you get a bit of green, you get a bit of yellow, you get a bit of white, you get a bit of brown, you get some flowers that are like pinks and yellows and all that. So it's just a lot more to it versus the winter. It's white, brown, and then the dark green of the trees. You know, and you got the buildings have some color, but you get the point. It's very overwhelmingly bright, just bright white. Now, all of this I've mostly cleared. We're kind of getting to the point that, oh, did we figure out where the next closest gas station was? I remember that was one thing I wanted to push for. I think that might be a gas station up there. And we're on this main road. Yeah, so either that's a gas station or one of those is a gas station. Because I want to start pushing up to the next gas station so that I can get a staging point farther up here. And we did take a helicopter, not really close to this area, but not really far from it either. So we should see a couple of zombies trickling around here and there. But having killed not quite 200,000 zombies here, understandably, the area is just not as busy as it used to be. All right. You prefer the chill play? Yeah, no, for me, with all the hours I've had in the game, I've kind of ruined my way of playing the game by playing these challenge runs. When I go to, like, even a high pop world, like high insane pop or whatever, and just play that normally, I walk around feeling like, where are the zombies at? Like, it just very genuinely, I'm used to so many zombies that when I play a normal run, I realize I can kind of burn through town population-wise pretty quickly. Like, that was, oh man, I can't remember. It was the, One Painful Year challenge. I've been doing this challenge for a while, and it was not, I hadn't gotten, like, a really good survival time yet. And I had, well, that's not true. I had, like, a run that I got to, like, 70,000 or whatever at that point. And I had, like, it was, like, every once in a while that One Painful Year challenge comes back where it's like, no, you gotta do the One Painful Year. It's the One Painful Year. It's so hardcore. Very genuinely, the One Painful Year challenge is a moderate difficulty challenge. It's actually a like it's harder than just playing Apocalypse and all that, but it's really not that hard of a challenge. And then you also have the added problem of one of the things you're supposed to do is do Pitch Black Nights, or Perfect Black Nights, whatever they're called. And for streaming, that's awful, because you know what people really love? When they can't see what you're doing. It really makes them happy. It definitely helps your content to remove an entire sense from it. But, so we did it without the Pitch Black Nights, because the answer with Pitch Black Nights goes, you know what that means? It means I go in at like 7 o'clock, we go into our room and we lock the door, and we just fast forward the entire night away. Ooh boy. Just absolutely wonderful gameplay. But, it's a moderate challenge. It's a good challenge to do, but, I kind of didn't like it because there's too much keeping track of everything. Like, you had to keep track of, like, what day you're supposed to leave. Because the gist of it was you had a bunch of challenging settings. And none of them were, like, super challenging, but they're a little bit challenging. They're harder than Apocalypse. And then the idea was you're supposed to survive for a full year, but as part of it, you're required to move, I believe it was 3 times at certain points in time. That you couldn't stay in the same city, so you had to relocate cities. But it was one of those things that I came to realize from playing my 16 times pop gameplay and how fast I could cut through zombies and all that. I came to the realization that unless I played in like the absolute highest population cities, I could clear most, if not the entirety of a city by the time it was time for me to move again. And so I kind of looked at it as like, okay, but in practice, this is literally me just playing my 16 times pop challenge, only with arbitrary rules that I can mostly ignore because I'm already doing the harder part. Let's see, when Build 42 is you're gonna do no zombies, no towns run, and just live off the grid and see how long you can go. Yeah. Well, that's actually an interesting thing you can do now, and I've done that for a run. I didn't stick to it super long. Like, we build a pretty impressive house, and I was kind of like, all right, I'm kind of over it. But we did a run where I basically lived in the middle of nowhere, and we had the zombies still turned up and everything. But the goal of the run was I had people, you know, saying, oh, I need to know where I can get, like, a good base. Can you give me a good base location? That's like, all right, I can tell you a couple of the normal ones, but it really doesn't matter. It's like, the only thing that matters is that, do you have water nearby? Like, that's like your biggest thing is, do you have water nearby? Living forever is very easy as long as you have water nearby. If you don't have water nearby, then it gets a bit more complicated. It's still livable, but you got some prep you got to make happen. We got a pretty big crowd in here. How's it going? All right. And that is why I would really like to be done with the spears. We are at literally 1 point shy of the absolute max durability we can get spears to. And anytime I pull a horde, I'll usually break 1 spear before it's over. If not more. Saw another one over here. Where'd you go? Alright. Yeah, I'm curious when we get it. To keep in mind, you gotta also keep in mind, the last Thursdoid, they did back off a lot of the changes they were making to the crafting. There is gonna be a major overhaul, but it won't be nearly as large in scope as they originally had intended. And it's just kind of one of those things that they were worried that it kept just kind of pushing, pushing the update down the road, pushing the update down the road, pushing the update down the road, and they're like, okay, we want to get this out. We'll still be adding this stuff eventually, but we want to get this out. So it's just kind of more and more and more that it just, people were understandably getting upset. For those who didn't see, one of the lead developers for Project Zomboid did put kind of out a post where basically, he had pretty much deleted, disabled, stopped, participating in Reddit and social networks because he was like, it is just destroying his mental health. And then apparently a lot of the devs at Project, with Indie Stone are really struggling with that kind of stuff. And it very much feels like it's just the expectations are through the moon. And on one hand, people love that they take their time, but on the other hand, it's also those things that people are being like, oh, they're just taking too long. Like, they're just taking too long. It's just not okay. And so it's just kind of one of those things that he was kind of venting on that. But one of like the big things that came up from it was apparently, understandably, this is no surprise to anyone. There's been a lot of different groups who have reached out to Project Zomboid offering to, basically buy the company. Like Indie Stone, like to buy the company because they'd love to have Project Zomboid in their portfolio. And he was talking about, the amount they're offering is actually really good and whatnot. But because of the amount of stress and everything they were going through, that they actually had strongly considered one of the offers. They didn't go through with it, but it was like one of those things that there was a want to just be out of it. Hey, Belnar, thank you so much for the raid. I do hope you had yourself a good stream. Give me a moment and I will catch up with you. But welcome in, raiders. What were we playing today and how'd it go? Let's see, small 10.5 hours of Elden Ring. Nice. For those who don't know, Belnar is an absolutely fantastic content creator. Fellow member of the Halcyon Frequency stream team, been playing some Elden Ring, playing that new DLC, and all that good stuff. So if you're looking for that content, now you know where you can find it. And trust me, you'll have, you're just not going to find someone else playing Elden Ring right now, right? But yeah, no, it's absolutely, fantastic. Good times over there. How are we doing on our calories? That made me jump, even though I was walking real slow. But yeah, I hope you had a good stream and all that good stuff. And I hope the new DLC is treating you well. We are playing a little bit of Project Zomboid because I didn't know what I wanted to play today. And I haven't played in a good long while. But yeah, so definitely drop a follow. If you're looking for Elden Ring, you can find it over there. Belnar does play a whole variety of indie games and all that stuff. Quite a bit of survival crafting among other things. So if you're looking for indie game, a lot of pixel arty stuff, and survival crafting, you can find that there. Good times over there. Alright. But what we're doing right now, for everyone popping in from the raid, is I am doing some Project Zomboid. This is our super duper juiced character that we were doing a 16 times population 0 to hero, entirely spending the entire run in Louisville and nowhere else. And you might go, oh, so how's that going for you? You got yourself a good start? A little bit. We're at 173,000 zombies killed. Because this character has been alive for 1 year and 7 months. I haven't played them in a while, and I'm definitely just jumping right into the deep end of the pool after having not swam in a long time. There was absolutely nothing that could possibly go wrong with that. It is certainly not something that is highly discouraged. It's definitely not a way to get a character killed. Alright, put you on the back. But we started with what I refer to as 0 to hero, which for me is we start with no skills. So it looked like we were getting the occasional flashing on stream again. Now the capture is on game capture. Because I definitely don't think I want to... Oh, it's when I tab in and out of the window is when it's doing it. it flicks for just a second anytime I click out of the window. That's just Project Zomboid things, unfortunately. I could well, actually, even if I do it display capture, it'll still do it. No, you're all good. I would rather someone be like, hey, your game's flickering, and be like, oh yeah, no, I can't do anything about it. Like I'd rather have that discussion than like have a whole stream where the screen is just flickering constantly, and then realize I had display capture on the whole time, because we did do some display capture at the beginning of stream. We were talking about like, you know, various games we had played recently, how they're doing like on Twitch as a whole, that kind of thing. Because we had recently started, you know, picking up Sunhaven again and that, and it was just one of those things that like it didn't do particularly well on the channel. Well, I mean, it had okay viewership, but the followers, like we had a huge number of people. Not huge. We had a significant number of people who like saw the game and then unfollowed the channel. So it was like, that doesn't feel good. So we were just kind of like discussing like numbers and that kind of stuff, the typical things. You feel like your stream streak has moved on to medium difficulty with the days off? Yeah, well, I mean, I had Thursday off for a long time, but yeah, we recently added Fridays off, which has been good. Like, the last Friday I had off, I got a ridiculous amount done. This Friday off, I didn't get much done. My niece and nephew have been visiting town, and it was basically niece and nephew recovery day. Because they are young, like, you know, 7 and 3. So there is entirely too much energy in that group. So I had a great time visiting and all that, but like Friday was just me recovering, because not only we did that, people know I'm in Central Florida, and they got to go to Disney World, and oh my god, the level of energy. Oh my god, the level of energy. It's something like kids like Disney World or something. I really can't put my finger on it. All right. Which, it was funny, like there's all this stuff there, and the one that they wanted to do the most was they just really wanted to do Dumbo. Which is fine. What is energy? The thing that was sucked out of my body from... I was joking, like, you can sit on the couch with two young kids like that running around in the room with you, no interaction between you and them, and you still somehow end up getting more tired. Like, just being in their presence is enough to start draining you. Wait a second. Is that the building I was looking at down there? That is. Well, if that's not a gas station... and we don't want to push up this far. Alright, let's not play a dangerous game. I don't want to get like stuck trying to back up and get caught up on that trailer. All right. Especially with the spear, you do not want people on multiple sides of you. Okay. Now, we do have a storm coming in the game. When we're dealing with the storm, I will probably duck back to our main base and just do, like, skill work, that kind of stuff. It's just not a good idea to be out where things are rough. Hey, Alanorama! Welcome in. For those who don't know, Alanorama, an absolutely fantastic content creator on the platform, somebody I definitely recommend checking out. Plays a lot of RimWorld, so if you do like that little game called RimWorld, you may have heard of it. Definitely check that out over there. Alanorama plays a whole bunch of that. Also plays other games, but definitely solid RimWorld content happening over there. Okay, are we past that nonsense? All right. So now we can try and do this. What's going to happen is I'm going to shove this trailer around. That's definitely how you move a trailer, is you definitely don't turn it the way you want, and you just use the horsepower of your engine to just ram it away and call it a day. Alright, so I don't want to keep going this way because there's nothing up that way. You played Project Zomboid for the second time ever? I'm going to go on a guess here. And this is not reflecting on you as a player, this is reflecting on second time playing Project Zomboid. I'm gonna guess that you died at least a couple times, because that's just what happens in Project Zomboid until you get some time under the hood. Which that is a thing. If you do go to play Project Zomboid, just accept you're gonna die a lot when you first start. That's not any reflection to you as a player. It's hurdles that literally every single person who plays this game has to go through. Every single person who goes through this game, you gotta die a lot before you stop dying a lot. Alright, so I'd hoped that green building up here was a gas station. It was not. Because it was a gas station. Wait, people are saying there's a mistake in... Oh! What? Is it the capitalization? As you covered. As you covered. Ah, I see. Bear with me for 2 seconds, because if I do not fix this now, I can assure you it will not get fixed, because ADHD brain work that way. So events, intro, know where you are. Where did I put those? I had one for when people arrive. Was it a nested one? It's not a command. Where did I put those? Yeah, no, it's supposed to be has you covered. Raid, Firebot, docs prevention, stream starting. Okay, so it's not in my events. It's not gonna be a command. I would have sworn it would have been an event. Oh, here we go. I have a general events there. Okay, so let me go ahead and quickly fix Ilanorama, because like I said, if I don't do that, I will forget that it was a problem, and then someone will, bring it to the next one. So boom, boom, save, and now I never have to worry about that again. And bring back up YouTube chat, and we are good. And I do apologize for when the screen flickers when I click in and out of it. It is what it is. Okay. Alright. So yeah, so we're backtracking up this road. Just because I realized I wasn't going to get what I wanted here. Alright. Oh, good. The snow, it's going away. Yes. Leave me, snow. Let me free. Allow the world to have color once more. Excuse me, sir. Thank you. And I do apologize, but I fall behind with chat here. That is just one of the things with Project Zomboid, because any little mistake is it for a run. When you're playing, you just, like, anytime you're not paused or in an area where you could, like, slam the door close and know you're safe, you just can't look away. You can never watch a lot of Raw, but you can't have you besmirching her stream with bad grammar? Yeah. Yeah. Come on, warm up a little bit more. Get rid of that snow. Let me see what the world looks like once more. In the last year, I have not played Project Zomboid where I've seen not snow. As far as, like, it's been winter. Because I haven't been playing a super ton of it. I just pop in for a little while, knock out a couple thousand zombies, demonstrate that I still got it, and then I go and do something else. Alright. Looking at a new run, rip 8 months save file. Yep, it happens. It doth happen. Alright, so with the storm coming, we're probably going to be heading all the way back. So once it starts to get dark, we are going to just nope the heck out. So let's see. So I'm on this road, and we think that or that might be a gas station. So we'll go over to this T and then start heading north. I'm pretty sure that's not a gas station down there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like a garden shop or whatever. Yeah, so we'll head over to the west, and then we'll head north, and that's probably a gas station up there. Okay. You'll just unhinge our jaw and shove an entire rabbit in there. As you do. Oh, yeah, look at that. We're down to just the tiniest smattering of snow. I'm dropping back and killing the stuff behind me first. I have no idea if that mods list is correct. It should be, because I haven't... This is the same run we've had the whole time. Almost all the mods are just, like, UI quality of life stuff. The Pillow's random spawn is one of the only ones that changes gameplay, but it just changes where I spawned on the map. And that way I could force myself to spawn in Louisville at random. Like I could be in Louisville, I just wouldn't know where. Yeah, this is where we're clearing the last time. Unfortunately, we're running low on time, so I'm gonna actually cut one of these roads here. And we're gonna start clearing our way down. Okay. Because what's going to happen is once it starts getting dark, with a rainstorm, it's going to get extremely difficult to see. So you absolutely don't want to be out here fighting during it. So I'm kind of just figuring we'll clean up this road on our way back. Okay. Alright, that direction seems mostly clear. Alright. Got some coming from the other way, so I'll have to watch that. Alright. But part of the reason I lap back at some of these roads that we've cleared before is we will we will have the occasional rally group just wander through area we cleared. You don't want them coming up behind you where you get yourself pinched between two groups. So it's really just tidying up all the time. All right. It's going to be getting dark soon, so we do want to get out of here. I think we're officially at the point of it's time to go. What's your stats? We started out 0 to hero. I'll get the stats pulled up here in just a second. I just want to go ahead and get ourselves out of the neighborhoods. The storm is going to make it really dark here in just a moment. But if we pull this up real fast... We started with nothing on this entire screen, no skills that give us XP stuff. We are on the default XP gain rate and all that kind of good stuff. But this is a character who's been alive for 1 year and 7 months and has killed over 100,000 zombies. Almost 200,000 zombies at this point. We're at like 174,000. Ooh, what was the command? We do have a command for the build. I don't remember what it is, though. Traits, maybe? There we go. But yeah, so you can see here we start with 0 strength, 0 fitness. We're at 9 and 10. Well, we're almost 10 strength, respectively. We start with 0 in all of our combat skills. The only one not maxed is spears, because I really don't like spears. But we're dealing. Our nimble is up to about 6 and 3 or 2/3, so we're getting pretty high up in our nimble. We're already to the point we can pull off ridiculous shenanigans. No one cares about the crafting skills. The trapping, fishing, and foraging are doing fine. But you get the idea. We've been making some solid progress in a lot of that. Our weight is still looking fine. I'm just going to go ahead and shovel that other rabbit in our mouth right now. Because it's stale. It's going to rot soon, so... It's better that we eat it and get our calories than not get our calories. Keep that weight up until the winter's basically done. Alright. But yeah, so we have a bad storm tomorrow, so we're dropping back to our main base, not our forward base. So that's going to be a little bit of a trek. And that's because during the storm, our visibility is going to be pretty bad. And that's actually how I used to have the world record run a while back, and that's how my world record run died. Is I was dealing with some just bad weather. We had a zombie wearing all gray standing on top of a street where there's a bunch of bodies nearby with just the bad weather. I didn't see them, basically just walked into their loving embrace, and then they bit me in the face for it. Actually, they bit me on the arm or whatever. But that character got to 135,121 kills before they died. That said, there is, like, my record got beaten between now and then, and the record was set much higher than I'm currently at. I have no intentions of pursuing the record. I had it. I got to, you know, hold that flag and be like, it's mine. But now, like, I'm not interested in putting in the time to try and reclaim it. What's the new record? It's like 974,000 or something like that, just shy of 1 million. That was, Mr. Lamprey set that. Which Mr. Lamprey was the one who took the record from me. And that was the run that took the record from me. He survived well over a full year playing that character almost every single stream with the occasional exception. I honestly, very genuinely, I've said I'm pretty sure that's the forever record. Because you're talking on one save committing like over a year to it. Like a real life year to it. Thousands of hours into a single save. Don't do that. I need to repair this truck. I know it's been a while and I've been putting it off. That is wild. Oh, it's ridiculous. And you might think he was upset when he died, but to literally quote him when he died, "I'm free," was the first thing he yelled. It's over. I'm free. At what point is the entire map just clear of zombies? On these settings, oh man, what was it? We did the math. It was more than 4 million. I don't remember what it was up to. Like just the regular map itself on like the default population settings, I want to say it was close to 1 million, and I want to say like the full 16 was like 12, but those numbers I'm probably wrong because I haven't been asked that in probably a year. The point is, you're not going to wipe out all the zombies on the map. Like, that is a fantasy that will not occur without, like, the only way I see that happening is if you added a mod that teleported you to the zombie, you pushed the button, and it fell over dead, and you just, like, put a weight on your button and walked away. Like, you'd have to basically cheat it to do it. Because as you kill the zombies, they would get more and more spread out, thinner and thinner, that you would have difficulty finding the zombies. And eventually you'd have to reach the point where you would use dev tools or whatever to figure out where the zombies are left in the map, because finding them would just not be practical, because it'd be like one zombie standing in the absolute middle of the woods. You would never know if they were there or not without dev tools. There's someone who supposedly cut all the grass and grounded, and then they released an update that expanded the garden up a level. Yep. People do those types of challenges. I feel like cutting all the grass and grounded, as ridiculous and tedious as that would be, I kind of feel like that would still not be as big a time investment. Because we're talking literally thousands upon thousands of hours to clear the map. Consider the fact that every in-game day takes you somewhere in the ballpark of about 30 minutes. You know, it's between 30 and 45 minutes on average for a day. What about cutting all the grass at Product Zomboid? No. Like, those types of challenges, because you gotta think there's literally hundreds of thousands of tiles of grass on the map. And it takes you several seconds to do it, and you've got to do it with zombies and everywhere, and then you got trees in the way that you'd want to cut the tree down so you can see what you're doing. Like, those are the types of challenges I'll have someone propose, like, you should have to get every single flamingo on the map. It's like, you're talking literally hundreds of those suckers. Like, no, that wouldn't be fun. Like, it'd be fun for a little while, and then it'd just be tedious. Or like the challenge was like, well, you're only like a run, but you're only allowed to use axes. It's like, no, because that would just be tedious. Yeah, no, I know you weren't being serious, but I have people who propose challenges that they, that they are serious. Like, no, you got to understand, you're taking a game that when you get to the end game, there's already kind of limited content to work with. So very genuinely, people get bored, and you're saying, but what if less content? And you're like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. Oh yeah, I'm not saying it's not doable. It's just one of those things, like, you could do it, but hear me out, maybe it's not worth doing. Like, don't get me wrong, the 16 times pop killing over 100,000 zombies on a run is already a real big slog. Like, a real big slog. Yeah, no, generally speaking, product Zomboid servers usually only last a couple of weeks. But that's because people start getting, their stats stacked, and it's just not kind of worth putting in the time anymore for them. And people move on and all that. You start having, like, the map get messed with a lot, so that kind of has a negative. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and go to bed. That way we wake up at a decent time tomorrow. It should be storming pretty much all day tomorrow. I also just realized I want to have the generator on. So this is the main base. Do we have any books I need to read, by the way? Trapping. Wait, didn't I bring the trapping book with us? We can figure that out tomorrow. Actually, I lied. We'll figure it out right now. So trapping 4. Well, we've got it now. And so what I'm going to do right now is we're going to pop up here. It's a little bit too early for us to sleep, so we're going to go ahead and read just a little bit of the book. So we're going to read to you. You've already read Trapping 4. Do I not have Trapping 5? I don't have Trapping 5 here. And sadly, this would have been a really good time for me to read it. But apparently I just don't have it. Because that's the only area in my base that should have books. That's fine. We've already locked the door. We can go to sleep. But yeah, now generally speaking, once the server's been around for a little while, people end up tearing apart stuff on the map. You've kind of got your generators and all that set. And generally speaking, when you're... No, you woke up a little early. Well, that's fine. We'll just deal with it. Generally speaking, when you're playing Product Zomboid, kind of the gist of it is, the game, if you think about it, is kind of like a checklist. That you start the game and you've got, your 2-3 dozen things that you kind of want to get a run off the ground. And what happens is, as you're doing a run, you go and you get one thing, then the next thing, then the next thing, until you eventually have ticked off everything on your checklist. And then you scratch your head and go, now what? And that's when you start coming up with all sorts of ridiculous stuff to do. To get stuff going. Alright, so our windshield and our front hood need to be replaced. Our left and right brakes need to be replaced. So our truck is in bad shape. I don't believe I've got spare parts for cars laying around here. So I'm going to need to find a donor car. So that's what we'll work on this stormy day. Kind of like how they do in Dwarf Fortress of Factorio. Oh, just that, like, as you finish things, you kind of check it out. At least the Dwarf Fortress and Factorio, the game becomes a game you play in the background for another game. Yeah, at least with those games, you can, like, make it bigger and more elaborate kind of thing. Whereas with Project Zomboid, it eventually just devolves into, I want to hoard more loot. Do you need the loot? No. Are you going to ever use the loot? Also, no. Or kill more zombie. Nothing at the car repair shop? Probably nothing I really care about. What I'm just going to do is look for a car that's in decent shape. And we'll just start working on this. So that car's not the right style. We need a truck. Well, a heavy car, whatever they consider it. So like a van would work, another, you know, truck, like a truck would work. That one I believe will count. All right. And since we just got hit with an ad break, what did we get hit with an ad break? Yeah, somebody just got hit with an ad break. Oh, that's kind of annoying. So I see it on stream that the ad break happened, but I am not seeing it. Why will you not give me my mouse? Thank you. But I'm not seeing it on... Oh, weird. My UI got messed up here. 1 second. There. So yeah, so we're on a quick ad break. So I'm going to take 2 seconds to use the restroom real fast, and I'll be right back. So thank you again for tuning in, and I'll be back here in just a moment. No. I'll just...
What is going on?
A raid?
He installed the musical alarm.
Welcome to the nuclear reactor. Here we dance. We dance like there's no tomorrow. Dance with me. Dance.
Who needs sonar when we have beats? I mean, the accordion makes it.
I had no idea that this sub was rated for Europop.
Well, it's not. No, that'll definitely overload the reactor vent and kill us all.
I don't think I've had nearly enough drugs for this. That sounds like a you problem.
I'm sure that looks better in theirs, like headbanging.
Sweet morphine.
You know that wreck? That wreck I mentioned? You might get to keep that wreck. I think that wreck belongs to you. Don't let him know, chat.
Warning, maximum depth reached. Hull damage imminent.
Don't tell him, chat. He thinks we're leaving. He thinks we're leaving, chat. He'll never know. I think he knows. I'm pretty sure he very much knows. Oh, you scared the crap out of me, Sand Shark. I appear to be having trouble getting back out of the hole I'm making. You'll be fine. Just, you know whose problem that is? Not mine. You know whose problem that is? The neighbors. Please tell me I can just dump the dirt, like, anywhere. I may have found my new favorite game. To, like, tone it down. Oh, right. And I am back. So we're being asked, so if you didn't close the gate, would the zombies sneak in? So the danger is if I didn't close the game. So I do have the zombies set so they're smart enough that they can open doors on their own. So if I close the gate and I leave and the gate is still closed when I come back, I know nothing got in there. Now, if I come back and the gate's open, I know there's a good chance there's a zombie hiding in there that I gotta deal with. I don't think we've had that happen this entire run, but you get the idea. All right. So you are not in the greatest shape. Do I actually have the tools on me to take this apart? Okay, so we're just gonna start ripping stuff out of this car. All right. Oh, I need a wrench. I wish that window wasn't so big. I should have a wrench in here. If not, I need to go get one. There we go. And then we'll need you. And you. I already have a screwdriver, so I won't need that. Alright, so what I'm trying to do here is I'm just trying to cannibalize this car for all of its parts. And then anything that's better than what we got, we'll start worrying about that. Okay. Now the big danger is I can't really see the whole left side of the screen. The good news is the odds of something attacking me from the left side of the screen is pretty low. Alright. So what surprised me is I was under the impression that we were going to be dealing with a storm today. If not, it might be the end of this in-game day, which would be a bummer if that is the case, because that means I'm already like retreated out. Even though we don't really have need to do that. The auto-completion sometimes adds the old prefix for you. Gotcha. That's probably the auto-completion from the, from like your browser auto-completing as opposed to Twitch auto-completing, but that'd be my guess. Alright, Night Driller, you sleep well. I appreciate you hanging out and the lurk and all that good stuff. This is also those things that, like, this whole thing is nerve-wracking because we are not in a safe place. And I could tow this the whole way back, but realistically I'm gonna end up taking apart a couple of cars. So I don't really want to tow them all back and then shred them and then leave their wreckages everywhere. Alright. And here's hoping we get a bit more, Oh, we failed to get that one off. Because we're actually not that skilled a mechanic. As haven't had to do that much mechanic work. Alright. So basically I'm taking the parts off this car, and I'm kind of heaping all of whatever one part is in one spot. And the reason I'm doing that is so that as I take apart my car, I will take off the part that is in the worst shape, and then I will, you know, try and replace it with the part that is the best shape here, until I come to like whatever kind of average is like the best we can get. Because we're not gonna get all these parts in the first go. There's gonna be a bunch of them that we damage. That's just a thing I gotta deal with. And then we can worry about trying to fix other ones. And I usually don't worry about, oh, is that performance suspension or this suspension or that or anything like that. It's just like, what's its repair state? That's what I care about. I just don't want my wheel to pop off in the middle of driving around because my suspension hit 0%. And now suddenly, where I was perfectly safe, my car has gotten stranded, and I gotta run home in, you know, not a great situation, like with a helicopter zipping around or whatever. Those kind of things that can end up getting you in trouble. Alright, so let's go here and turn on our radio. And bring any food with us. It's not actually that actually, that's not true. Alright, so let's check to see what its broadcast says. And I'll get back to tearing apart that car. All right. Yeah, so we've got heavy rain and thunderstorms this evening. Okay, so just heavy rain and thunderstorms this evening. Thank you for the follow or the stream. What mods do you have installed now? Most of my mods are almost exclusively like UI kind of mods. So stuff like we have the minimal display bars down here, and a couple things like where it'll show our weapon durability and all that. I do have a command over on Twitch that lists them all off. Unfortunately, I don't have one set up for YouTube. I need to get my bot switched over to one that I can get the bot to work with both platforms now. It didn't when I first got it, but I've got to get that all set up. What is my social security number? It's all 5s. I know, it doesn't sound believable, but you'd be amazed. But I'm really old, so it's only 4 5s. You know, it's not like the whole like 3 2 4 kind of numbers. It's one of the originals. You get it. Before they started the new format. Okay. And pretty soon we'll have the whole car shredded. So you got a double rear door. We're not going to use that. We've got the front door. And then we've got the front windows. Now, ideally, I'd also clean it up. I have a founder's badge next to my social security number. I both love and hate that. Also, look, you're not supposed to tell him that part. I don't want to dox myself. I've already said too much. Like, providing the social security, number like that, that's one thing. But, like, the founder's badge, that's just too much information. Alright, so let's take a look, see at what we got here. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is we're just going to assume all the tires need to come off. And no, I'm not replacing the muffler. And the reason why all the tires are coming off regardless is by taking the tires off, I'll need to do that to get at the suspension and the brakes, and the suspension and brakes are in pretty rough shape, so it's pretty certain that those are going to need to be replaced. But this is just as you drive your car around, it will take wear and tear. So sooner or later, you are going to have to fix your car. So it is worth taking the time from time to time to shred some wrecks, that kind of thing, and figure out what you got there. Alright, so drop these tires over with the other tires. Okay, so let's take a look-see at what we've got. Okay. If we check here, our worst brakes are 24 and 26. So let's take a look at the brakes here and see if we got stuff that's more than 24 and 26. I'm sure the answer is yes. We got a 70, which is better than anything we had over there. We got another 70, so we'll start with those two. And if it's not more than like 5% better or whatever, I usually won't bother. Because if I fail it once, I can actually, lose quality on my stuff. Like that. So I just damaged that brake, so I lowered its durability or quality, or whatever you want to say. Alright. How do you install brakes? Do you need to be a mechanic? So there's no such thing in this game as like a roll or whatever. Like, you have your starting thing you set, but all that does is give you like your initial skill points. It's based on your skill. And you could try to do these with, I can't remember if you need any skill at all. It's not much. But as you can see, me not having great skills in this, I trashed that one. It was at 70%, and we failed to install it several times, so it's down to 61. But that's still better than what we had. So I just need to get this one on before it gets down to like 24, 26 or whatever. And we'll still be having an improvement. Okay. Yeah, so the other ones aren't worth me trying to put on. So next we've got the suspension. So 71's pretty high. 79's pretty high. Grab the 51 just in case we trash one real bad. Can you drive without brakes in this game? No, if you don't have brakes, it won't let you put the wheel on. It's just not that kind of game. Plus, there'd be no point in ever doing that. That's like literally the only purpose of that would be to kill your character, and you can just hold the gas pedal and not use your brakes without having to worry about that. My summer Zomboid. I still have not played my summer car, and I know I've had a lot of people who have said, hey, you really need to play this. But it has just not happened. Alright, I'm going to try to get the 55% one on here. We'll see how this goes. It's good fun? I've heard that. I've heard it's a very fun and very janky game. But, like, The kind of endearing kind of jank, as opposed to the infuriating kind. Alright, so the window... Alright, so the hood's 34 and the windshield's 36. So let's check that. Alright, so the hood here is not much better. Let's grab that rear windshield, because that might actually be an upgrade. The front window's not looking good, but I think it's better than what we got. Their character's like, I'm cold. And I'm not trying to make this car perfect by any stretch. We're just trying to patch it up so it's not quite as bad shape, because we had a lot of parts that are getting pretty bad. So honestly, this rear windshield is at 85, so that's way better than the 65 we got here. The hood is still a problem, though. That's what I like to see. And so our weakest door was, I believe, 56, I think I saw there. That's a rear door. Let's grab that door that's 87. And grab the door that's 73. Yeah, so we're going into the actual storm, as you can probably tell by the fact it's getting darker and darker, even though we're only going into afternoon. Alright. Ah, you don't have a rear door. Let's drop off the rear door. That makes sense, the rear double door. I don't know why I grabbed it. And the other door was absolutely garbage. Let's check the windows while we're here. The 71's probably worth replacing. Okay. So I'll need to uninstall the glass first. Now, generally speaking, most of the time you want to be doing this inside someplace where you've secured the area. Because as you can see, I am just standing out here. If zombies started rolling in, it'd be a problem and I'd just be stuck with it. Okay, so we got a 52, a 62, and a 67 on the headlights. The headlights really don't matter much, but I figure I might as well replace them. We're here. We're doing it. Whatever. 40... that's... Oh, they don't tell me their quality. Well, I'll just grab the whole stack then. Alright, then we'll just have to put the wheels on, then we'll just have to find just another vehicle to steal the hood from, or we can repair the hood if I can find the right materials. Okay, so let's uninstall the 52%er. We have an 85. Uninstall the 62%er. We have 81. And we'll just go ahead and do the 67%er. Because lights are really easy to do. It's very unlikely I'd fail any of them. Meanwhile, we got the Mounchies. Need some candy fruit slices. Oh, the wheels. Yeah, that's kind of important. Alright, so I need the 4 best wheels in the stack. So all of those are in their 50s. So we got one tire that's an 80 something. We got a 59 here. And put those on real fast. But as you can see, this could take you the better part of a whole day just patching up your car. But it's kind of a nice thing to, like, break up what you're working on. So if you've been doing a lot of stuff, eventually you know you want to do that. How's my gas tank doing, by the way? That's a big one. Alright, so gas tank is at 80% damage. Or 80% repaired, so that's relatively fine. Alright, so you got 52. I'm not close enough to see them all. 57, 58. We'll grab the 57 and the 58. And that should be all the wheels we need. And to be fair, I have not had to repair this vehicle many times. I think this is only the second time in the game I've had to, like, properly stop and be like, it's time to repair. How am I doing skill-wise, by the way? Mechanics. Man, mechanics is such a slow skill to grind. Okay. So I've got this other one over here. I'm not gonna bother moving the car. You look like you're in pretty good shape. Not as good as I was hoping. In fact, the 2 parts I was hoping to get out of you are both in not great shape. Alright, so what I need to remember is we're going to take the hood off this car. And yeah, so we need metal sheet and screws, metal sheet and propane torch. Yeah, so metal sheet and screws or propane torch to attempt to repair. I have a propane torch. We should be able to find metal sheets here somewhere. Also check you, see if you got a decent hood windshield on you? Yeah, you do. So instead of taking parts up, well, instead of doing the repair, just take this one's. Alright. Little by little, we cannibalize the neighboring cars. And that'll be our car fixed. Oh, and if you see piles of, like, large backpacks and military backpacks everywhere, there's no reason for me to ever have more than, like, 3 of them. And we've had over 100 in this run so far get dropped by the zombies because of the population and where I'm at. So I got to the point where it's just leaving them on the ground and just letting them collect where they collect kind of thing. Okay. And just like that, our car went from being like in the 30% overall condition to about 60%. It's still got a lot of damaged parts, that's fine. The point is none of those parts are in dire shape. No, I I literally deliberately do not have put a muffler because I want my car to be loud. Noise is a feature. So I actually stripped the muffler off it intentionally. Alright, so we got inflate our tires. Or they'll wear out faster. Yeah, no, very genuinely, noise is a benefit to you. Like, it'll keep you from being snuck up on because you draw all the zombies into the big open spaces. So generally when I drive around, I usually try and get the loudest vehicle I can and then remove its muffler to make it as loud as I can. To try and draw as many zombies out of hiding so I can fight them in the road where it's, you know, it's on my terms versus have to, like, creep up to them in houses and all that where I can get ambushed easy. We're just topping off our tire pressure real fast. Yeah, so if you play any meaningful length of time in the game, especially if you use your vehicles aggressively, you do need to stop and like patch them up when you start getting the longer runs. If you're only living for like a month or whatever in game, that's completely irrelevant. But once you start getting to the point where your survival is going 3, 6, 8 months or whatever, you are going to wear out your vehicles. And it can be that once a vehicle wears out, you just ditch it and move on. But I like the Bull Driver. It's just a really good vehicle for dealing with a lot of problems. It'll get you out of a lot of jams. And it's got good capacity. So very genuinely, it's a good vehicle to keep on hand. And there's other good ones, but it's always the one I've been happiest with. I actually, like, there's a sports car that's extremely fast. And a lot of people like to get that one, but you just kill yourself in it. That's what that vehicle's for. That vehicle's for saying, hey, you know what? I've always wanted to just not have a live character anymore, and that's how you drive that vehicle. I'm trying to think. Oh, I know where we can get this. This is probably a bad idea for me to do right now. But I'm going to do it anyways. Where's that tire pump? And what I'm going to do, and this is a bad idea, and I shouldn't be doing this on a stormy day. But we've got our trapping basically maxed out. So what I want to do is if we go up this road, there is a university. I haven't been there in a little while, which is the part I'm saying it's probably a bad idea. We previously cleared it, but it might not still be cleared. It probably won't still be cleared. But I should be able to find the Trapping 5 book in there. Because apparently I missed that book. So I could duck in there real fast, grab the Trapping 5 book, and get back out. Because if I'm going to bother, you know, having a day where I'm not way out doing war stuff, I want to at least be productive, and without the book, I can't read it. Hey, Michaela, how's it going? Alright. Is this the Fabled Venus playthrough? Yes. And we're currently driving through Louisville. So the highest population, like normally in this part of the map on our settings, you would barely get like a couple of feet before you'd be up to your waist in zombies. But after killing 173,000 zombies, the neighborhood's a bit quieter than it used to be. Yeah, so let's go to the university, find that book I'm missing. We can go from there. And in areas that I previously cleared, I usually will take the time to kill any and all zombies that I see. Because just kind of one of those things, as long as I keep doing that, the frequency we find any zombies in those areas will just get less and less and less. So it's worth taking the time to make sure your clear places stay clear. Because the one zombie that sneaks up on you or you fail to notice is the one that kills you. Not the ones that, you know... When you're just going toe-to-toe with a big group, you'll eventually get the pattern and the rhythm down that... They're dangerous, but they don't feel like they pose a threat because they're very predictable and easy to manage. You just kind of figure out how to fight them and they're not that big a deal. But it's the ones that, like, you have that second you're looking away and then suddenly you're dead. Okay. Generally lone zombies that get you? Yep. It's very rare I've died to, like, just a straight-up fight. It's almost always I failed to see something, and it got a hold of me, or, like, I made some just, like, really, you know, really dumb mistake kind of thing that got myself in trouble. And that's usually, once you get to this point in the game, that's usually how you go. Because you've got the stats that you can fight zombies all day without much problem. All right. Yep, so we're just going to quickly get out of the way to the university. The university area is probably... That area might be messy. We haven't been there in a very long time. And I cleared it, but it didn't, like, really thoroughly clear the area around it. It was kind of, we went to the university, we gave ourselves enough breathing room, we could go in safely to get the book, and then we haven't been back there in probably 6, 7, 8 in-game months or whatever it's been. So that'll be an area. I wouldn't be surprised if we've got some zombies have moved into it. I am starting to worry that we are getting here a little bit later than I want, because I gotta go inside, and it's gonna be dark. And that's not a good idea. Alright, so let's go ahead and stop the truck back here. Because the truck, like I said, I've deliberately set it up to be about as loud as I can make it. So as I'm going around, I do want to draw the zombies around. But in this particular case where I know I've got some areas not cleared nearby, and I kind of don't want to deal with it. And it is getting a little late, so I do want to kind of just roll in here. I want to skip the gym. Okay. Alright. So it's still relatively quiet here, but we are dealing with some that have wandered through. I'm just really concerned that it's getting dark and a stormy day. And that might end up being a problem. We'll see. If it gets to the point where it'd be going in the building and I can't see, that'll just be it. Give me a moment doing things with spears. Would you stop? I just want to borrow a book. Can I just borrow a book, please? This seems unwise. It is. What's about the spear you don't like? It seems easy to kill enough. So the big thing is you have to really be careful how you play around the spear, because the spear has an execution animation that if you have only one zombie in front of you in that direction, you'll use, and it locks you in place. And during that time, you can have, like, a zombie flank you and just grab you from behind, that kind of thing. So it's just a thing you have to be, like, extra careful. But then on top of that, it's just inventory management where the spears break really fast and easy. So it just ends up being a huge pain point, having to carry around like 8, 9, 10 spears on you wherever you go when you're using spears. Like, it does damage. It's the highest damage per second weapon in the game. But it's got some pretty strong drawbacks to go with it. Oh, come on. Stop having a whole bunch in here. Oh, you know I'm betting? I'm betting the last time I rolled through it didn't go through this area. Alright, we're going. I'm about to hit fatigued anyways. I wanted to push, but that's getting too dangerous. That's just asking to die for no reason at all. I wasn't expecting to hit quite that many zombies when we got around here, but that's okay. We're just gonna jog back to our car. We might have to fight at our car a little bit. It wouldn't be so bad, but with the rainstorm going on, visibility is absolute garbage. And going inside the building with that poor visibility is just begging to die. Yeah, this isn't where it is. This is the exact kind of weather that my record run did die on. It was just like this, and there was a zombie wearing all gray, just standing still on the road where I had a bunch of bodies nearby. And so it just blended in, and it just stood perfectly still until I got right up to it, and then it grabbed my face. Okay. Could you not put it directly on my mouse pad? I appreciate it. You are being nice. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm not being mean.
I was nice.
You were nice. I was not trying to be mean. I was just in the middle of doing stuff in Zomboid, and you put it where I couldn't move my mouse to do stuff.
You don't need to do that.
Uh-huh, I'll die. And then when you die in the game, you die in real life. That's how it works.
You're not allowed to die.
Then I need to live.
Yeah, because you're not allowed to die. We have an understanding.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
So what did you get? You gave me the mint ones and the intense dark chocolate.
intense dark.
I approve of both of these.
Yeah, I thought you would. Yeah.
Love. Alright, so I missed whether the storm clears up today or tomorrow. But as you can imagine, you see how bad the visibility is out there. I would be dealing with this inside the building, trying to inventory juggle looking for a book. I do think I'll still go for the book the next in-game day, but we're going to try to go out there when it's not this late. And that's fine. And you might be going, it's like, oh, did you take, what was it, a Sunday driver or whatever it is? No. I'm using cruise control because driving fast gets you killed. There's just no benefit to it. Just take your time. Project Zomboid is not some, like, on the edge of your seat, high-octane combat type of game. Project Zomboid is a slow and methodical type of game. That if you want to live a long time, it's take your time. Does Sunday Driver not also increase fuel efficiency? Fuel efficiency, a totally irrelevant stat in the game. No, so the big problem with Sunday Driver has nothing to do with, like, its impact on acceleration and speed. It's the way it does its impact on acceleration makes it so if you tow something into the grass, a lot of times it just wrecks your ability to tow anything, because it actually reduces the torque of the vehicle, not just the top speed or acceleration. So you can easily get yourself off-road and stuck. Because it used to be, before that was knowledge, I used to jokingly say that Sunday Driver wasn't a penalty, it was a perk. Because it protected you from yourself. Because I cannot tell you the number of runs that a person was, 3, 4, 5 months in, doing a solid run, got a sports car, some got up to speed, some horde of zombies that just wandered into the road. They went to swerve and smashed a tree and died or broke their leg and then got killed by the horde of zombies or whatever. That and roofs. I've seen a lot of people die to messing around on second floors of buildings doing stuff and then falling off and, again, either just straight up dying because they're overburdened with blanks or, they fall down, break their leg, and then the broken leg gets them killed. Alright. But that's kind of the way you get these really long surviving runs, is it's every time you die in the game, you kind of stop and go, okay, yeah, I died. Yeah, I died by the means of a zombie grabbed my face and bit me, sure. But, like, what was the decision or action that led to the series of events that led to my death? And then, kind of going, what was the lesson to be learned here? How can I prevent that death in the future? And you make yourself a rule, and then going forward, you follow that rule. And hopefully that, dying in that manner does not happen again. And there are times it's like, oh, I literally just whiffed a swing. There's not really a lesson to be had. Don't miss. Or the lesson can be, I was really sleepy. That's probably why I missed the swing. Maybe IRL, if I'm sleepy, don't plan a run I care about. All right. Someday I'll farm again. Actually, Before we get too far, let's just take a little peeky peek in here. I'm pretty sure all my books are in that room. Alright, yep. That's fine. Oh yeah, and we've got our extremely rare picture of Kate, as well as the spiked pickaxe handle. Both of those are fairly rare things to find. Alright, and pretty sure we don't have anything in any of these. If there was, it'd be rotten anyways. So let's take a moment. We're going to drop our bag. I locked that door, right? Yep. Because we have set them up to be able to, we have set the zombies to be smart enough to be able to, sorry. To be able to open doors and windows just like the player would. And I am deliberately delaying going to sleep for a little while. That way I know I wake up when it's sunrise. Alright, so sleepy sleep. You both like and don't like that setting. Yeah, in some ways it actually makes things easier. It's like, it's very much, in some ways it's easier, in some ways it's harder. So it makes it easier. Okay, so we're probably done here. It looks like the storm has passed. It's easier in the sense that you can run around the buildings, make a bunch of noise, and most of the zombies will just come out and you can just deal with them. So it does add that kind of safety. On the same side, if you accidentally miss a zombie, it means like a zombie can just roll into your room and get you. And you don't really have recourse. Go ahead and eat that candy. Alright, so that's black licorice, so it should give us maximum sadness. In the game, it gives you happiness, but really, that should make you peak sadness. It's black licorice. Come on, man. I've had this junk in the trunk here forever, so it's just like, let's just eat it. I was keeping it around just in the off chance I ended up needing food. But we're separated from where our main food store is right now. I actually have a bunch of non-perishables in there, and if I didn't, like, we've hardly touched any of the foodstuffs in any of the buildings. Like, I haven't gone to any of the grocery stores or cleaned them out or anything like that. Alright, so I still do want to push the university, get that book. That way in the evenings when it's, like, too dark for me to, like, safely fight the zombies and all that, I can run back home. You know, slam out the book real fast. Alright. When we drove fast and we made some noise, there's a chance there'll be zombies roughly in the middle of the road. Let's see, is the whole rest of the map cleared? Is Louisville it? No. So actually, where I'm at almost 200,000 kills, that's about just under halfway clearing Louisville alone. I have not killed a single zombie outside the Louisville exclusion zone. Almost all of that, just shy of 200,000 zombies, is just Louisville and just like the southern half of it. But this character has never stepped outside of the Louisville exclusion zone. Alright, so let's get to the university, get that trapping book. Just in time to probably never need it again, because when March 1st arrives, we're officially out of winter, at which point I can go back to fishing, and I much prefer fishing over trapping in the game. I actually find trapping to be very obnoxious in this game. It's It's fine. Like, I don't actually have any real complaints. It's just between fishing and trapping. Fishing, I can just at any time grab a spear, go to the water. You know, if I'm at low skill, sure, it's not very effective. But I can just go to the water and make food happen. It's not too rough. Trapping requires you to be farming for the most part and go through all those processes and all that. So it's like trapping in itself requires multiple skills just to do effectively. You put down your traps and you have to come back the next day. And there's like a whole process to it. Yeah, but you can't trap really close to your base. You have to get far enough away. So it's just between the two, trapping is a lot more involved to be successful than fishing is. Versus fishing, again, you just take a spear, go to the water, whack the water until you have enough fish or it's time to go to sleep. And you do that till you reliably get the fish. But during the winter, your fishing gets heavily penalized, whereas trapping doesn't. So you absolutely can fish in winter, but you've got to get some pretty good levels in it first. Okay. Yeah, that's a big part of why... That's what I thought. Machete. Yeah, that whole situation you just saw where there was a bunch of them in the road, that's the whole reason I rip out the muffler. A lot of times I'll even run my sirens when I'm coming home, because that draws the zombies into the road, which means the next day when I go out, I just clean them out like this, where, you know, it's ones and twosies, so that's a little annoying. But it's just taking all those zombies that would sit in the trees for a while, and then maybe they come up and get you later or whatever. You're pulling them out on the road so they can't hide. We're gonna get more snow, aren't we? Like, I'm hoping... it's just getting colder. I was hoping it wouldn't get cold enough to get the snow to stick, as it were. That's what I want. I just don't want everything to get white again, so like the entire map is just blindingly white all the time. I want greens and grays and browns and all the colors. Okay. Also with trapping, you have to be mindful of, like, what biome am I trapping in? Am I trapping in, you know, the urban biome where I'm going to catch, like, almost nothing? Am I trapping in a vegetation biome, which is okay? Am I trapping in a forest or deep forest biome where I'm going to get really good results? Like, all that kind of stuff. Versus fishing, it's like, am I at water? Yes, congratulations, you did good enough. And don't get me wrong, I do think it's fair that they should probably get it so I can't fish in, like, you know, the little pond in front of the hospital or whatever. I do agree I shouldn't be allowed to pull up pike out of that thing. Like, maybe I could get some minnows or whatever, but I shouldn't be able to grab, like, any substantially sized fish. That I'm down for them changing. Like, If it want any fish of substance, I gotta hit a proper lake or river. A little pond isn't gonna give me good results. All right. I got some more coming from the west. I think we're technically still in the storm. It's just the snowstorm's impact on my visibility is nowhere near as bad as the rain at night. At night it'll be bad, which is why I am trying to just kind of make my push real fast so we didn't dilly-dally, we went straight towards pushing the university. All right. It take 2 seconds to pause because the ad break. This is one of those games that I do try to make sure to pause during ad breaks, just because it is the kind of game where everything goes to fine till the run is over in a matter of, you know, one split-second mistake. So it's just kind of one of those things I'm trying to be mindful of that. There are a lot of games on the channel, like when I play Farm Sim or RimWorld or anything like that, usually I won't worry about it.
For subscribing for 9 months. It's that time once again.
Thank you, Draconic Dork, for the Prime Gaming sub. You get to use that anywhere on all of Twitch, and you chose to use it here, and that means a heck of a lot. That's 9 months you've been subbed to the channel. That's a heck of a long time, so thank you so much for that, and I really do appreciate that continued support, and I hope you enjoy your advertising-free viewing as well as access to the emotes. So thank you again for that support. Yeah, it's just one of those things. We're at that point where if you're consuming content on the internet, you're getting ads. That's just the way it is. I'm not saying it's a good thing. It's just the way it is. I'm going to actually take the second and use the restroom real fast while we're in that break, so I'll be right back. I am with you. We will stop the oppression of the trees. We knew this all along. They didn't believe me. We're looking for the restroom door. I want to find the restroom door, and I'll make those go to the kitchen. See the road. Where's my flashlight? Where's my flashlight? Where's my flashlight? Scratched. We're okay. Well, we're probably okay. Where is my freaking flashlight? I need to keep running, but I can't. She's like, staying in the relationship, getting paid. Getting out of the relationship, also getting paid.
Yep.
No matter what, if it involves any type of romantic situation, getting paid.
She was like, She was like De Beers with those diamond ads. She's like, if you want to break up, you have to have a weathered stick. You need the stick.
You wouldn't want to break up without a weathered stick.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you got to spend at least
least
2 months' salary on a withered stick. All right, and we are back. Okay. Yeah, so it still says we're going to be having thunderstorm right now in the game. That's totally fine. That is alrighty then. But just like last time, I am going to pull over into this driveway. And like I said, that's just because I don't want to drive all the way into the university and deal with that nonsense escalating. We did that way, way, way back, like 6-8 months ago. This is just the stuff that's wandered back into the neighborhood since then, which is pretty typical. It's one of the reasons why running around here never seems like you're completely overwhelmed by zombies, is because of how long this character's been alive and how much the zombies do gradually move around on the map. Areas that used to be really dense with zombies I haven't quite gotten to yet. Those zombies have gradually spread into the areas I've been clearing, so I've been just kind of whittling them down before I get where they're all densely populated. So you probably actually won't run into an area that, like, I'm properly dealing with, like, super dense zombies until we start, like, switching to go towards the mall or whatever. And then even then, having nearly maxed out all my combat skills, where normally you knock out a couple of rally groups and then you're just spent, this character can just absolutely blast through things. Let's see, the 3-minute ad break every hour that occurs is not the worst. Is zombie respawns on? Never. No. Generally speaking, if you're going to be playing in any amount of high population, respawn needs to be off, unless you are using mods that make it so you can kill a ridiculous number of zombies, so like Breedus mod, or you're playing multiplayer. In that case, respawns probably do need to be on, or consider turning them on. But single player, if you're playing like anything more than like high pop, you might as well just turn off respawns. You're not going to run out of zombies. It's not a realistic concern. And very genuinely, it can just be annoying to, like, be re-clearing the same spot again and again and again. You already do that, honestly, enough with respawns turned off. You end up re-clearing the same areas zombies wander in. Yeah, so people probably notice I don't do the strategy where I carry a chair around with me everywhere. I have no judgment against anyone who does that. I'm too lazy to do it, so I just, when I have an area I find I end up needing to rest, I'll grab a chair, bring it to that spot, and plunk it down. And that chair then lives there forever as like a fallback point. And thank you for the follow. Welcome to stream. Let's see, is there a difference between 16 times pop and insane pop this many months in? Yeah, things just take longer. Like, it's just, there's more zombies, so it's just, I've made the statement, it's around 6 or 8 times pop that the game gets its quote-unquote hardest. After you get above that, it doesn't get harder, it gets slower. And there's people who could argue, well, it's a little bit harder because it takes a little bit of time to go place and all that. But I would say it's a pretty nuanced harder. You almost considered turning down migrations as well, not off, but down. Because the same area long stretches got tedious. So the thing is, you'd have to turn down migrations, you'd have to turn down meta events, you'd have to turn off multiple helicopters and that kind of things. And then the problem with turning off all of those things is that in itself can make the game very boring. Because there's really nothing to throw a curveball to throw things off balance. So once you clear an area, you're kind of just good. And I do feel there is actual value in the game randomly being like, oh, you know the area you cleared? Well, the neighbors have arrived. Just to get a little something to happen to mix it up. It's 1. Stop being so dark. Excuse you? Why did you hit the one behind there? I hear a zombie, but I sure don't see it. Yeah, snow again. Yeah, we're really close to the end of winter, though, so... We're getting there. Pretty soon we'll be out of winter, and then the snow will stop. Yeah, this is the way I went last time. That's the reason why I was cutting through this building. It's like, man, I did not remember seeing this many zombies. Because I didn't. I hadn't cleared that building yet. Because beforehand, we went through here because I believe we were looking for the generator magazine, and we're just trying to make it happen. No, it wasn't the generator magazine. It was a bunch of the art books. We got the generator magazine in the first neighborhood, in, like, the last house or whatever. All right. Okay. So this is where we're going. What I gotta do, though, is get in there safely. I also need to not break my last spear or two before that happens. Wrapping 3, and I really want to get to the top floor first. Just because if I'm on the top floor, I don't have to worry about stuff coming down at me. I can, you know, clear it so I only have one direction the zombies can come from. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. Okay. Got it. That's what we were here for. Come on. That's all we were here for. We just wanted the book. Let's get out of that death trap of a room. Okay, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and fall back before the storm gets worse. And I'm going to be aiming to go back to where all our food is at the gas station over on the east side. That's the book we were after, was just that trapping book. Because I'm ready to read it, and we got that. What is... Okay, so the snow is all gone. Which is interesting because it is below freezing by a pretty fair margin right now. It's 26 degrees. 32 is freezing. Alright. Yep, so we're just popping by the library to get our new book. I thought I had all the books, but it was very clear I was wrong. And part of the other reason I didn't want to push the fight is I'm down to my last 2 spears on me, I believe. I've got a bunch already crafted, they're just not on my person because they're heavy. So we were getting low on the weapon supply. Now granted, I still keep a nightstick and a hunting knife or 2 on me, so we probably would be more than fine. But that is what it is. Okay. It does also make me wonder, so we've got this gas station down here, which is fairly close to where the university is. Let's take a quick map peek real fast and see maybe if we would want to switch where we're basing from over to this area to be able to push this, since we got zombies much closer. Yeah, so we've got, right now we're over here. We've got this gas station, and the gas station we're basing from has been down here. And this area we haven't been worrying about because it's just all trees. That's another area we could go, but we've been clearing up this area, kind of looking for the next forward gas station. Because I've been kind of clearing in the outside area. You also see I did try to push up this way, and that's just been a thing. Yeah, so that was a year, 1 month, 1 day, so it was about 6 in-game months ago. I could potentially push here and then try and just keep pushing our way up here. Because if I can go up to this corner, I can kind of fight my way out from the corner and have an area that's clear. So let's take a quick look at this gas station, see what's even here. I feel like there was a reason I wasn't basing from here, like, it didn't have a freezer, or, you know, there was like, or like, it was, didn't have a good room for me to put up my tent safely in, or something. There was some reason I think it wasn't basing from here. Let's take a peek. If it looks good, we run to the other gas station, maybe grab our supplies, and come back over here, maybe, and base from this end. No, this is secure. Wait, did it have the freezers? Yeah, no, it had a bunch of freezers over here. They're not good freezers. They're very inefficient, but I mean, honestly, I don't care. We're at a gas station. It'll be fine. Yeah, so I think what we're gonna do is we are going to grab our stuff from the other gas station and start making this the new front we push from, and just keep going up that west coast. I've been ping-ponging back and forth on where we're pushing from in this run, and that's been a deliberate decision. Because the bodies take about 9 days to decay, and as the bodies start to like really ramp up, it can start becoming kind of a problem to clear and do all that stuff. Because it's easier to lose zombies among the corpses, you have to drive slower because you can catch air very easily driving over zombies at speed. Yeah, it's one like that I didn't see last time. Alright, will that turn take me where I want to go? Yeah, I'll just go down the highway. The highway will be the easiest to figure out. Let's go down to the highway, we'll cut across. We're losing weight, but we're at 82 kilograms, so I don't really care. We got some time. And we're basically at the end of the month, so by the time we drop to the point where you have to care about weight, I could just fish again, so that'll be good news. But yeah, we haven't been getting nearly as high of a kill count lately. We've been having lots of storm events and all that, and I try not to fight during them. And then on top of that, just the zombies are so spread out. I'm having to seek out places that they have lots of zombies. Because you probably noticed that I push north, I'll actually get a good ways... You know, I'll get a good couple screens into areas I haven't been to yet before I finally start hitting some zombies that give me some resistance. And then usually I shove through them real fast, and then the commute is getting farther and farther from the gas station to the zombies. Which is the reason I'm trying to find a better forward base for reaching the zombies right now. But this should be fine, we just run over here real fast. I'm going to leave the traps just where they are, I'm not even going to worry about it. But we'll load up what spears we have, we'll load up the food and all that. Alright, the return trip, I'm going to want to clear all that. But I'm deliberately driving fast so the car is much louder to try and draw stuff out. I'm also looking like, by the time I start getting everything drug into the truck here, there's a real good chance it'll be getting dark enough that I'll need to ride out the night on this end, load up in the morning, and then drive the other direction again. Man, there's actually quite a few over here right now. Yeah, let's not do that. That's how you kill a long run, is you dodge the zombies, get caught up on a tree, and then have the zombies start grabbing you through the windows and that. I'm just not wanting to stop and fight ones and twos at the moment. That's not the right strategy. It's not the right mindset. You gotta be slow and methodical. I'm not doing it. I just want to be fighting zombies where I actually get more than like 2 here, 3 there, 2 here. Alright, let's see, one of my traps got destroyed. Actually, several of them got destroyed. I wasn't gonna deal with them, but right now, they're all just gonna get destroyed sitting here. I might as well pick them up. I can just throw them in the truck and be done with it for now. Rebomb later. Okay, I'm still not seeing any stragglers. And the other reason I was moving is with the storm, I expected to get dark and awful again. I'm just trying to get safe before then. Poor visibility kills. Alright, we do a quick lap around, make sure we don't see any zombies at all. If we see a zombie, it's gotta die. We do that before we start pumping gas. That way we don't get snuck up on and bitten while we're pumping gas. Alright. And I gotta remember what my situation even in this fridge was. I think we got a ton of veggies and some rabbits left in here, but I don't remember. It's fine either way. But the goal here is going to be to, like, package up everything, throw it in some bags, run over to the other gas station real fast, you know, load it into the freezers there, and then I'll have a forward base to start pushing the college area again. Okay, so we can eat some of this stale broccoli. To help with our hunger and just get rid of the stale broccoli. And that's because I believe I put so much rabbit in the freezers I couldn't carry any more in there. Alright. Oh, I have a lot of rabbit in there. Okay. So, I have an absolutely obnoxious amount of rabbit sitting here. That's good because we're going to need to eat like 2 or 3 of them whole just to get our calories back up if we want to keep the weight moving up. Which I'm not super worried about. But I figure if we pack away these rabbits pretty fast, I don't need to deal with them. And then that becomes less of a problem. So what we'll do real quick is first we're going to thaw them out. Yeah, we got some serious rabbits going on. I can't even fit them all in the oven right now. All right. So put the other set in there to get them thawing. Okay. And of course, we were 1 rabbit more than I could fit in there. Alright, so this will probably be the last round of rabbits we have to eat for the winter, before we're just straight up into the spring again, and we can just go to fishing and all that kind of stuff, which I cannot express how much I look forward to that, because then it means anywhere on the west side of the map, anytime I need to grab food, I just go to the river, I go poke it with the spear, and we're good. Because I actually have pretty decent fishing skill on this character. Not amazing, but decent. Decent enough that I can pretty reliably get stuff to happen. Okay, so making sure they were all marked as actually cooked, because some of them were showing up differently. Okay, so just go ahead and eat that rabbit whole. Didn't quite fully satiate us, so we'll go ahead and eat a second rabbit hole. Our calories are still not up where I want them, but that's fine. We'll deal with that in a minute. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I will put what I can in the freezer. Probably not going to be much of that broccoli there. Okay. Oh, I should have washed my character's clothes off the last time we were at home base. But as you can see, I have no shortage of food here. That'll work. Okay, so we are back at base, the Ford base, earlier than I normally want to, but we're looking at relocation kind of stuff, so I think that's fine. Give me those spears. And then we can go here and put up our tent. Because that's how I handle sleeping. Is just have a tent so I can sleep anywhere I go. I just pull out my tent, chuck it on the ground. We're good to go. And normally I do like a round of exercise and then, you know, rest and a round of exercise. In this particular case, we're reading a book. We don't do that very often anymore, but sometimes you just gotta have a book to read. We're so close to maxing out strength. Does he do the days get longer in the summer in Project Zomboid? Yes. So the days get shorter in the winter. It's not so much they get longer in the summer, but it is a thing that you have more time that it's darker on one part of the year than the other. Alright, that's good enough. So let's go to sleep. Grab our tent. We can put a spear on our back. Eat ourselves another fresh cooked rabbit. Because I gotta get my calories up. There we go. So we should be gaining weight still. We're on the high end of the weight we want. But I figure we just start packing this stuff away and it'll be fine for right now. In the meantime, let's actually check outside first before I overpack ourselves. Will the new build mess up this run? It won't matter because when the new build comes, this run will be retired. That actually has nothing to do with how it messes with it or anything like that. More than likely, any map changes will not be reflected in the build in this run. But yeah, I'll start a new run when we get the new build. I'm not worried about keeping this run forever. The only things I have left that I really kind of want to accomplish in this run is I would like to max out the spear skill, and I would like to max out strength. Because by doing that, it means from 0 to hero, I did take a character from 0 in all the stats to maxing out their combat stats. Which is, you know, it is an accomplishment. Oh, you are full? That is not part of the plan. That is really not part of the plan. Dojo beat the record? Oh, absolutely not. I'm nowhere near close to the record. I used to have the record. I have zero interest in pursuing the record ever again. The problem is the time commitment it would take me to do the record would mean basically I would need to stop playing any game that isn't Project Zomboid for the next solid year, and then play something like 8 hours a day, 5, 6, 7 days a week, and it would still take me about a year to tie the record again. Because the record's at like 970,000 or something now. The run that took my record was played for almost a year as like not quite exclusively the content that the channel that beat my record played. So you're talking I'm thousands of hours from taking back the record if I weren't to die or have anything go wrong. And I'm like, Project Zomboid's an amazing game and all that. It's not that an amazing game. It's not let me sink another 2,000-3,000 hours into this game for a singular run kind of thing. Did Jeremiah Wiener have any records? Yeah. They had the highest kill count run ever streamed at the time that I was playing that run. That was the record run for the time. And then the person who took that title from me was the one who just kept their character alive for like the full next in real life year. And set the bar to like 900-something thousand. So this is not great because I am overburdened by quite a bit. And we did dump a bunch of zombies on the road back here because I didn't feel like dealing with it, so this is me, getting punished for my consequences. But yeah, like, I do not feel bad. I held the record. I was I'm really proud of that run. It was the highest kill count we had officially seen at that time. Yeah, so I'm still 8th. We've had a whole bunch of people who have caught it. Like, at the time, I was 1st. But, like, a lot of people rose up to meet that challenge. And for the most part, after that run, like, I stopped playing Project Zomboid on a very significant level. Because understandably, going for records like that really burn you out of the game. Like, other content creators who have taken higher records, a lot of them do not play Project Zomboid anymore at all. Yeah, okay, Venus is still the 3rd highest alive right now. Yeah, that checks out. People just don't realize how many hours go into a run like this. This run has several hundred hours in just this run. I actually don't want to sit down and do the math for it. If you do, take the number of days, multiply it by 30, and that's how many minutes you get. It'll be between that and 45. Because the days on average will be between 30 and 45 minutes. Even though the days are an hour long, there's just, you do a lot of fast forwarding, you sleep part of the day, that kind of thing, so it ends up being quite a bit less than an hour in practice. You got a weird question, but does mayonnaise exist in Project Zomboid? Yes. It is one of those things that if you're going to get it, you gotta get it early. Because once the refrigeration goes, so does the mayo. Eventually. It's got some shelf life, but it goes bad. Let's see. Let's see. The other ones are all dead and locked in. Once again mentioned. It's all for fun. It's sandbox. People take it a bit strangely. Yeah. No, that's the thing. Like I said, I'm happy I had the record, but I'll have people who try and like egg me on to get me to pursue the record. It's like, no, 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 absolutely no interest. Just like the amount of time, just literal negative interest in pursuing the record. Like these days I have to play Product Zomboid like on occasion from time to time. Because if I play it more frequently than that, I end up burning out again real quick. That's just the fact, like to give you an idea, in about a year and a half I put 3,500 hours into the game. So, you know, you can do the math of how much I played the game during that period. That is how you proper burn out of a game. I've been completely ignoring the weather. It could be have said helicopter the whole time, and I've just completely not been paying attention. It did not, by the way. Especially since, even for all the mods the game has, once you get to the late game, kind of no matter how you mod the game doesn't feel like it changes that much. Sure, you can add sprinters, and that changes the game. I actually really don't like the sprinters in the game. The combat's poorly suited for it. You can make it work, but it just gets really arcadey, and it's just not what I look for in Product Zomboid. Let's see, the discipline it takes to take a long run like that is quite impressive, but you're also am weirded out by how some people try to make a game like this competitive, if you know what I mean. Yeah, no, that was, me and Lamprey had, like, kind of a friendly competition going on because, like, I had a run that, like, it was first we were kind of like, you know, Royale with Cheese TV had gotten 100,000. Thank you, Apollo. Welcome to the stream. Had gotten 100,000. Then I think I got 100,000 next, and then I think Lamprey was third. I'm not sure between me and Lamprey who actually got it next. So we had kind of like a friendly competition going there where we would have some like fun little banter and all that kind of stuff. Like one of us would have lost a character like 50 or 70,000. And, you know, the other one who would not have that as many kills would be like, oh, you know, that's really unfortunate the way I have more kills than you right now. So it was just kind of teasing each other type thing. Like it was all friendly and all that. But yeah, no, then there was people who, I don't know why, they would deliberately try to like get people upset with each other kind of thing. So there's a couple, and we're not going to say names and all, there's a couple of people in the Project Zomboid space that there's 2 or 3 of them that don't really get along with each other, and it doesn't matter why. It's just, you know, they don't get along. But people would know I was friends with both of them, and it was a very regular thing for people who would hear that they don't like each other, and then, you know, end up in my channel, and they would try to get me, like, you know, to give like my hot take on it or whatever. And it's like, I get along with them both. Like, they don't get along with each other, that's whatever. That's fine. And that, you know, people would sit there and be like, oh, you know, such and such was talking garbage about you. And I'm like, no, they weren't. Try again. It's like, no, they weren't. Try again. I was watching their stream. I was lurking the whole time. Come on, man. It's just, I don't know. There's just some people who want to see drama. I was saying, some of us enjoy numbers for fun because it's sort of a community arcade machine convenience store. Getting the big number is fun. At least that's how I see it. Yeah, it's just a whole bunch of people. It's like you have, you know, your different friends who would go to the arcade machine, and people would try and like get the highest score. And then, you know, for the analogy, the idea would be when build 42 drops, all those scores for build 41, they're kind of locked in. And then it would be, okay, for build 42, who gets the new high scores? Which, for the record, I have no intention of pursuing on a real level. Like, I'll play a bunch of Product Zomboid, but I'm not going to be going out of my way to set any records or anything. Like, I'm happy with the record I got. I don't want to put the time in. And that isn't me going, no, I could do it if I put in the time or anything like that. It's like, no, I genuinely don't think I have it in me to put in the time for another run, which is me saying I will not get it. I do not believe I'm capable of doing it because I would be bored to tears and hate the game by the time I got to the point of setting the record again. Which means I wouldn't, because I would stop playing before I got there. Alright, so we're moving all our stuff over to the new location. Brand new arcade machine? Well, my thought was more along the lines of, in arcades, at least back in the day, most arcades would reset the scores on the machine at some frequency. Some they would reset it daily, some they'd reset it weekly, some they'd reset it monthly, but eventually they would reset the scores. And then it was kind of the rush to see who could get the new score, who could set the new high bar, that kind of thing. Like, that was very normal. And so I kind of see, like, major version updates as, like, you know, the person running the arcade rebooting the machine and clearing the scores. Because we're going to have different challenges we're going to run into. There's going to be, like, for all the stuff we know that's coming, there's going to be some kind of, I'm going to say undocumented changes. I would not really phrase it that way, I guess. Like, we won't necessarily know the impact of some of the changes till we play. And so when build 42 drops, realistically, it'll be easier or it will be harder than build 41. Either all the extra levers we can pull to craft stuff and do stuff are going to be beneficial and make the game easier for us, or we're going to have to pull those levers, which is going to cut into the amount of zombies we can kill per day and yada yada yada. So I have to put more time into our actual survival stuff versus kill zombie fast. You know, and that would have the effect of slowing down the speed we can kill zombies, affording more opportunity for mistakes to, you know, potentially knock off a high score kind of thing. And that's honestly very typical. Like, if you look at when people are scoring speed runs, it isn't unusual for it to be, you know, this is the version 1.0 speedrun scores, this is the version 1.1 speedrun scores, and like once the next major version moves up, you know, those old scores are like locked in that they can't be threatened kind of thing. I mean, you can play the old version, that kind of thing, but I find generally people move that. You think survival focus would be cool? The problem is, right now, the way the game works, there's just not enough there for the survival side of it. Like, surviving, like, just strictly not dying from food and all that, even if you put yourself on, like, the absolute sweatiest try-hard settings. Did I leave a freezer in here? There was a freezer in here. Like, even if you put on the absolute sweatiest, tryest hard settings and all that, staying alive isn't really that hard, all things considered. Now, is it tedious? Yes. And for those like, no, you don't know, I did a run where I literally made it so loot wasn't even on the map. Going into a building served no purpose. There was no loot there. Everything I got had to come from like a corpse of a zombie, or it had to come from foraging. So I had to forage everything. And we basically got ourselves situated where I could pretty much survive forever. Oh, turn that off. Turn that off. Clearly, I forgot to refuel this last time I ran out of fuel. All right. And you always keep a full fuel can next to the generator. That way, if I did do, like, what you notice there is that basically that generator had run out of fuel. Because I had, you know, left it on at some point and then left for who knows how long. And because of that, it had run out of fuel. If I had needed that gas, I'd have been in trouble. But I keep a gas can right next to any generator, so no matter where I am, what I'm doing, I just have it handy. Alright. Most of these are probably going to rot and not get eaten in time, but it's fine. Is there any more in the trunk of the car or anything like that? Okay. Go ahead and shovel away another rabbit real fast. Grab what we can and put them in my bag for the rabbits. You'll see how much we can put of the potatoes and broccoli in here. Okay, those are all just gonna rot. That's fine. We'll be back in the grow season soon, and I'll be able to forage as well. In the meanwhile, go ahead and chop up the stale broccoli. Okay, that's fine. We have our food. We're good. It's not particularly late in the day. So what we can do is I'm not going to worry about the car. We're going to go ahead and do a lap around the block, clear it out. We haven't been here in a long time, so there's a good chance we got some friendos here. Just checking to see if there's any zombies really kind of in the visible range of our base here. If so, they die. Because this is just the quick check, are we secure, as it were? Okay, so yeah, so I cleared out this area of the gas station. That's fine. We're gonna just roll in to the university. Unlike last time where I was specifically beelining for that bookstore, now we're here just to kill. So I'm going to run up here to where there's this T that I've clearly not gone to the right. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I lied. Okay, I'm going to use the actual sprint. I never use the real sprint because it just murders your endurance. But that's fine. Gonna run back for my car. Because we got a little bit of time left that it's still reasonable. Yeah, generic cooled shelves. Let's see if I can't get rid of the generic cooled shelves. Oh, right. We can't take them apart because this is just something they do in a bunch of places in Project Zomboid. They overlap these shelves. You see it's supposed to be 3 wide, but they overlap it so it looks like 1. And as a result of that, you can't, like, the game doesn't know how to let you pick it up, so you just can't. That's why we had that. That's probably the reason I wasn't using this place, because what that means is it's like I'm running 4 or 5 freezers in there so far as my gas consumption goes, but I'm not super worried about it. But it's just kind of one of those things, they're like, oh, this is just wasteful and I can't fix it. And I can't remember, I believe you can't even destroy it with a sledgehammer either. That's be the next question. Yeah, it's a matter of like the targeting, is it doesn't know what to do because there's more than one object occupying the same space. And weirdly, you can do stuff with that normally. Like if you have, you know, the corner of some walls, you can like cycle through them. But for some reason, when they do the whole thing where they overlap like shelves or freezers and all that to like give it a appearance, it doesn't work. Hopefully that gets fixed, because that means there's a couple places in the game like there that, you know, it's set up the way it's set up. If you don't like it, that's just too bad. I figured I got some time before it gets darker to clean up the neighborhood a bit more. Burn down and rebuild? Nah. In this run, I've never once used fire. I think we probably have killed single digits worth of zombies by running them over. Not intentionally, it's just one of those things where you get yourself kind of cornered. Or you just don't see a zombie and you're driving and you slap it with your car. But those don't count towards our kill count anyway, so it doesn't really matter. What I'm trying to do is I want to push over towards the mansions. Because the goal here is I want to start working up the west side of the map towards those warehouses, because if we can get to that back corner and fight our way out, man. So those bodies only last like 9 days, and I still have a bunch of skeletons over here, and I didn't think I'd been here in like weeks. Well, that's fine. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. But as you can see, like I took a helicopter in this area previously. All right. Because then there's also the idea is as I'm clearing up here and securing the perimeter and working my way out, I can kind of like properly secure the area. Yeah, there's a lot of skeletons out here. It must not have been that long. Now, it is one of those things that they rot to like the 9 days and then they turn skeleton and they go a little bit longer, but that's a lot of skeletons, so that tells me it's not been as long as I thought since I've been over here. But as you can see, there's tons of zombies that they get stuck inside those mansion areas because the buildings are big and have lots of closets and all that, and eventually they work their way out of that. And then they got to figure out their way outside the fence. So it just takes time. That's part of why I keep the vehicle noisy, is as I drive back and forth up the road going past the houses, we'll slowly drag out any stragglers inside there. Generally speaking, in this run, I don't typically go into a building unless I'm planning on making it a place to sleep. or like the very rare chance there's something I could properly use in there. For the most part, we have everything we could possibly want long term. So like going into a building for weapons and tools, there's literally no reason. I've got almost 100 crowbars and a whole bunch of machetes and katanas and all sorts of stuff from how many zombies I've killed. And then a whole bunch of just various other weapons. Clothing is fairly irrelevant. We've already got kind of a nice little aesthetic going for her character thematically. And she has both like a summer and a winter set. We've got... Like, we were missing the trapping book, which surprised me, but we got everything else. Alright. That's kind of the idea, is what we'll do is we'll slowly work our way up here. And more will be drawing zombies from the east as there's no more zombies to the west. Because we have a hard border to the west. There's the river, so no zombies can come from past that river. So once we stop seeing zombies from that side, they're done. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Just gonna scooch up. Or not. Okay, and I know we're on an ad break, but I'm in a relatively safe spot, so I'm just going with it. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Alright, we'll do one more push forward, kill some more stuff, and then after that push forward, we'll backtrack. So I did see there was one rally group back there. Oh yeah, I remember this corner. Excuse me. Excuse me, do you have a permit to rally here? I don't think you do. With how many zombies I've killed without cheesing anything, I really don't care about doing this. Because they just get stuck in this corner, and rather than take the time to figure out my way around, I could just knock a bunch of them down here. That's good enough. Because as you can see, we've drawn a ton of helicopters with the vehicle, but there's just not an opening for a while. Like, let's say the opening's way up the road, and we'll get there. But that's the reason why they're all getting stuck on that fence, is they can't figure out the way to get to me, so they stand around and just get angry. And then as an added negative, every so often they'll attempt to figure out a new path. And when they do, that is going to steal a little bit of performance from my game, where it's like, let me find the path, and they'll try and do a bunch of calculations and come up empty. And then they'll do it again in a little bit. So even if I just go by and do this from time to time, eventually we'll clear out the ones in this little pocket over here in the corner. And for the record, this actually means I'll damage my spear more. Like I'll get less kills per spear than if I were to go around, because you take a damage penalty from poking through the fence. All right. And not going anywhere near that tree. I've learned my lesson with that one before. Don't get caught up. There's a tree involved, you get out of it. It's not worth it. Trees are just too dangerous. Okay, we can go ahead and get that stale broccoli in there. Eat that. Okay, the reason I'm going around them at the moment is just, it's getting dark, and I'd just rather not deal with them. The egg collection early on at the checkpoint where you were shooting them was nuts how many there were. Oh yeah, for those who didn't see that, Rock Chalk, there's clips that are they're like a year and a half old now. It's been a while. But there's clips where there was a bug that was introduced for a little while, that what it did was it effectively gave all the zombies what was effectively like a slightly stronger than pinpoint hearing, even if you were set on normal hearing. And it was just in the unstable branch. But what ended up happening with that bug is I was in the checkpoint, the military checkpoint at Louisville with 16 times pop. And I'll give you an idea of how ridiculous the range was for it. That basically ended up having over 34,000 zombies all packed out, like just outside that perimeter. So it's wake up, fight, barely dig out enough of a hole for me to be able to go back to sleep, and then repeat that for many in-game months before I finally knocked down enough of the population that I could finally get out. It was harrowing. It's one of those things I'd never want to do again, but was kind of fun for just the ridiculousness of it. Trees are never worth it. When Venus will get the world record one day. No, Venus will not get the world record one day. I know you're trying to be like, no, you can totally do it. I'm not putting thousands and thousands of hours into this character. I've already put hundreds and hundreds of hours into this character. But very genuinely, I would need to almost double my Project Zomboid playtime to get the world record at this point. And I am just not interested. I very much love the game, but I'm not looking to knock out another 3,000-4,000 hours anytime soon. There was another zombie over there. Yes, we got some zombies in the area, so we need to deal with them. Just by surviving, you do it one day without playing more? I would disagree with that, because again, we're talking thousands of hours. So where I'm breaking out Zomboid maybe once, maybe twice a month, you would be talking getting into the area of my lifespan as a human being at that rate to tie or set the record. You're talking that scope of things. So very genuinely, unless I committed to pushing the record will not happen. Like that's just the reality. You don't gradually do that. I guess you used to play more. I used to play almost every single stream. Like I used to play most streams, like probably 4 to 5 streams a week, back when my streams were 11 hours long. And a lot of those are Project Zomboid. So I was probably putting in like 50 plus hours a week of Project Zomboid every single week. Because again, 3,500 hours in the course of about a year and a half. But like I said, these days I'm much more focused on variety. I've always considered myself a variety streamer. But yeah, that's more than a full-time job. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is to tie the record, that is not enough. Like, I would need to do more than that to tie the record in a meaningful amount of time. And we're talking meaningful being in a year or 2 or 3. Yeah, so I love Project Zomboid, but I don't want to play that much Project Zomboid. I have other games I want to play as well. And thank you, follow. Welcome to stream. If I forgot to call it out. To be fair, that might be when Build 42 comes out. No, I honestly, like, there's a chance Build 42 slips into next year. But where people have been, like, bad-mouthing them for, like, not making good time, that kind of stuff, I disagree. The devs have always been, it's ready when it's ready. And I genuinely agree with that approach to game dev more than anything. I would rather have to wait 2 or 3 years for an update to come out and be in a good state than get the update, you know, really early kind of thing, and then it's just rough and you just kind of ruins the fun of it. Let's see. What is your favorite game right now? So I generally don't approach the I don't approach things as having a favorite game, because what favorite game I have right now, it's like, okay, well, what time of day it is, what did I eat for lunch? If I look at my watch, which way is the light reflecting? It's just one of those things that I don't have it that sticks that much, that it's a fairly meaningless thing. That said, some of the games I've been pretty happy with lately is I'm very happy with Coral Island, for if you're looking for slice of life genre. That's a really big one. RimWorld has always been a good one. Farming Sim is a nice pastime kind of game. What else have we got lately? I've been going back and actually playing Planet Coaster recently, which is going a ways back. Put a bunch of time into Dismantle. That's been pretty good. I've really enjoyed Pacific Drive this past year. That's been really good. Galacticare has been pretty fun. That's definitely not one I put necessarily on my favorites list, but it's a solid game that I burned some pretty good time into. Anomaly has really revitalized RimWorld. Love it. Yeah, I actually at the beginning of stream I was showing how RimWorld's been doing on Twitch lately. It was down what, 1200% since Anomaly dropped. And it's been down, like, it's just shy of 50% for the last like 30 days. Which it's still fine. It's still pulling like 400-500-ish average viewers a day or whatever. But it's one of those things that, like, I've been saying I've been playing a bit too much RimWorld, which I still plan to play RimWorld and all that. But it was one of those things of, like, I'm playing too much RimWorld because I'm not a RimWorld exclusive streamer, like, primary streamer. Like, I do play a lot of RimWorld, but I consider myself variety. But it is those things. I always do try to have some amount of balance in my content of different games. That way I'm never pigeonholed into just one game. Like, actually, it does get to be a thing. If I play too much of one game in a short period of time, I actually get antsy about it, being like, no, I don't ever want to feel trapped in a game again. Because there was a period that part of the thing that led to my burnout of Project Zomboid was feeling like I had to play Project Zomboid. The moment I get into that feeling like, no, I need to play this game. Like, if I want my channel to survive, I gotta play this game. It's what my audience expects. If I get to that level of being attached to a single game, I will go out of my way to not play that game. Because I never want to feel like stuck into one specific game. Because it's not the way I play games. Like, I will binge a game hard and put in 1,000 hours and all that. But then I'll usually put it away and get to, like, whatever the next game is. Okay. So that's all I wanted to do, is take a quick check real fast and just see if it was a helicopter day. Because I didn't want to leave people on a cliffhanger, that kind of thing. Because what's going to end up happening is we're probably going to be changing categories of game here in a minute. I have been putting in, we'll do one more. We'll do one more in-game day, because I did spend a lot more time than usual on the intro today. So we'll put in one more in-game day. After which, we'll get to our game switch. Because normally what I'll do is, again, with a variety thing, usually I will do about half of the stream one game and then half the stream another game. Honestly, almost all of that is just into being like, no, this is a variety channel. It will always be a variety channel. That will not be changing. Because if it is ever not a variety channel, I'm no longer having fun. Which means I will probably stop streaming in that case. So I keep it on variety because it keeps it fresh for me. It keeps it fresh for a lot of the audience. I know a lot of people they watch, like, they have the game they watch. And that's fair. And I get those individuals when I switch games a lot of times will just, they'll leave. I'm no longer providing the content they want. And there's nothing wrong with that. But for me personally, if I get to the point where I wake up, this is the game I play. I go to bed, this is the game I'm dealing with. When I'm planning my content, that's the game I'm worrying about. I will be miserable. I do hyper-focus on games at times, but usually it's a hyper-focus for a little while, and then I'm ready for the next thing. Alright. But yeah, I think the things I'm looking forward to right now is, so Manor Lords, my stance is Manor Lords is got a really good start. That I agreed with. Manor Lords is a really good start for a game. Personally, I found the state the game is right now is missing a lot of the stuff that would interest me, like the policies and all that kind of stuff. The stuff where you really differentiate the way you play your Manor Lords versus how others might play their Manor Lords. So it's like, okay, you got a really good start here. I'll come back when, like, you're closer to release. Like, we played a stream or two of it, had a good time. People enjoyed it, I enjoyed it. But it's like, but what I really want isn't in the game yet. So I'm gonna wait till it's in the game. So I'm literally just gonna keep waiting till it's closer to done. City Skylines 2, which the update for that is dropping in 2 days, the massive economy rework where they fire all the landlords. That's dropping in, I believe, 2 days. I fully intend to play that on the channel. We did play it on release. Not as much as we could have. Like, I did 2 or 3 streams of it. I can't remember. Was that the one that was crashing my computer? I think that's why we weren't playing it. It was crashing my computer, if I remember correctly. And so I would, like, it had a really strong chilling effect for me playing it more because it was taking out the whole stream, and that's just kind of one of those things that is so incredibly damaging to the stream when that happens, because you lose like a third to 2/3 of your viewer just get left behind. That it was like, I want to play more, but I can't. And I believe that got fixed, but it was one of those things that it got fixed by then, like, City Skylines had kind of gotten a bad reputation and all that. And so it was kind of just waiting till it got some updates to revisit it. You know, when there was interest had come back, kind of thing. You're holding up buying the game because of the economy stuff? Yeah, it's definitely a bummer it was in the state that it was when it released. Like, I feel like it was in a similar quality to when it released City Skylines 1, but the same argument I would have against Kerbal Space Program 2 is the issue of Kerbal Space Program 2 releasing in a similar state to the way Kerbal Space Program 1 was on release, is Kerbal Space Program 2 exists in a world where Kerbal Space Program 1 exists without all those pain points. So there's kind of a certain, like, you're competing with yourself. that you kind of have to sit there and reach a certain quality bar to justify yourself. And also, considering it was like $50, to me that's inexcusable. Like charging that high of a rate for a very buggy and unfinished game. Versus Kerbal Space Program 1, I think one of the things that worked for it was, I want to say it was like $10-15 when it very first dropped. And then they kind of increased the price 2 or 3 times as it got major updates and the game got more systems and got fleshed out. And all that kind of stuff. So they were effectively charging a lot more for less game, is the way I look at it. And to that extent, I feel like they did kind of the same thing for City Skylines 2. As well, City Skylines 2 does absolutely introduce a lot of polish to the way like you make roads. Hi.
Hi. Are you killing their zombies?
I am killing their zombies.
Oh, good. Puppy, what's it like being so adorable?
I wouldn't know.
But you're adorable. That's why I adore you.
Mm-hmm.
Kill the zombies.
That's what I'm doing. I love you. Let's see, Parent says, your argument was Kerbal Space Program 2 was a new studio that had taken over and they wanted to rework the whole system for stability going forward with their own roadmap. That's fine. Like, the reason it's buggy and has issues, that's fine for their side of things, but coming at it from the consumer side of things, if you are introducing the sequel to your previous game, and the sequel to your previous game is effectively worse than your previous game, in the state it's released, to be clear, then that's a problem. Like, it's one thing if you, like, you super duper discount it, it's like your early play test versions kind of thing. People are more understanding in that case. But when you're charging a premium for it, like $50, which is, again, you're getting into near AAA prices, and you've got this kind of unpolished, buggy mess. It's just one of those things. It's like, but no, it's not worth it. And again, the promise you'll have a good game is not acceptable to me personally. Like, I'm not buying the game it could be. I'm buying the game it is, because the game it could be is a game that may never exist. So it being buggy on release, I could be more forgiving if the price was appropriate for, you know, a rough early access kind of release. But it wasn't. Which means it felt very money grabby. Which they're not the only ones doing it. There's a lot of studios that it used to be, when you got an early access game, it was sold at a discounted price. And then what would end up happening is, as it got farther and farther, the price would go up and up and up until, you know, you hit the release price and the released, you know, quality of the game. These days, though, it's become a lot more, you pay for the privilege of being able to play the buggy, not quite there version early, and I actually have problems with that. I'm like, you're giving me an incomplete game, and I have to charge, you know, you're charging me extra for that privilege. Yeah, now with the layoffs and all that, I don't... Oh, yeah, that was the problem. So there was nowhere for the zombies to get through that fence, so they're all just bunching up on the fence. Never mind, that group has a place to go through, because you could tell I got close enough to the opening that they are all going. So I'm going to have an actual fight here. Because that... Oh, Lord, they coming. Watch that frame rate dip just a little bit as all those zombies got to figure out their pathing around that fence at the same time. Okay. Why are you being weird? There you go. Is like juggling the targets. My nibble's getting so high it's hard to use the short blades. And the reason I switched is I'm right about to hit moderate what's the word I'm looking for? Exertion. And at moderate exertion I take a massive damage penalty. And there's a lot of them still. Why am I having such a... It feels like a damage penalty of some kind going. Because it should be 1 and 2 tapping all of them with this hunting knife. We have max skill in it. I'm really rusty with the hunting knife. It was one of the weapons we maxed out early on. I think we did like long blunt, short blunt, long blade, short blade. Then I think it was axes. Okay. I just didn't want to go through that because we were probably going to hit high exertion, if not worse, if I just fought that straight up with the spear. And I just didn't want to deal with it. Okay. Cool. It also broken a spear, and I figured I was going to have to juggle 2 or 3 spears in that whole encounter at the same time, too. And I just couldn't be bothered. But yeah, now with them letting go with the team and being on maintenance mode, which they never did really define what that meant. Like, does maintenance mode mean they're going to still add all the features they said they're going to do? Or did that mean they're just going to do bug fixes and patches and leave it a go? Like, we don't know what that means right now. We'll see. Hey, Bentley, how's it going? I'm hoping they still push forward with it, but with the team let go and all that and how badly it was received, I actually have pretty low hopes for it. I'm doing pretty good. I'm really hoping it happens, because it's such a bummer. Like, the magic of Kerbal Space Program was, it was truly something unique for its time. Like, we had games that you did, like, space and rocketry, but nothing where you effectively played, like, as NASA, for all intents and purposes. Nothing that you kind of went through the history, built up, doing all that stuff. So, it very much kind of hit that edutainment magic spot where it was genuinely a really fun and engaging game they could sit and go, wait a second, I'm learning rocketry and physics and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, the roadmap was why you didn't refund the game when you paid launch price. What's your favorite vegetable? You mean in game or in real life? Real life, I don't think I have an answer. In game, I mean the potatoes are the most practical. Real life, I generally, there's not much I approach in life that I have favorite. Like, and that's not me just trying to like, that's fine. That's not me just trying to be like avoiding the question. It's just, I'm not the kind of person who goes, I want this and that's what I want and that's what I do in the future kind of thing. Like, I genuinely move around a lot and stuff. So I don't know, I mean, obviously, like, potatoes are always a win. Like, you can always do something with potatoes. But alright, we need to stop attacking. And the reason I need to stop attacking is I'm about to hit high exertion. So that couple of seconds we were fighting, we pushed all the way to what's known as high exertion. Well, not quite high exertion. I stopped just before it. If I had let it hit all the way to high exertion, what ends up happening is even walking drains your endurance. Bananas aren't a vegetable. You're breaking the rules. Yeah, and I'm just not a person that's like, oh, you know, that's my favorite. Like, generally when people, like, push it, like, you have to give something like a favorite meal and all that. I'll generally say, chicken enchiladas for, like, my favorite meal. But it is one of those things that, like, sometimes I'm a lot more being like, no, like, chili's a really big thing right now. No, I'm into the enchiladas. No, I'm looking at wings. Like, it does vary a bit. Alright, so we've got a little bit of distance. Let's go ahead and run down here. We got a chair. Yeah, no, orange is my favorite color. Beetroot. So I have the thing where beets taste like dirt. So it's the same kind of thing as like cilantro. So for those who don't know, for some people, it's just a thing that cilantro tastes like literal soap to them. So it's not just people being picky. It's literally like someone just went and grabbed a bar of Dial soap and said, eat that. And you're like, but why on earth would anyone ever want to do that? So beets are also another one to have that. Where for some people, when I say it tastes earthy, it's like someone grabbed a fistful of sod and said, eat that. And you're like, no, that sounds terrible. Hey, Tulpans are getting a 10 stream streak, catching the last 10 streams without missing a single one, so thank you so much for that. I do appreciate it. Congratulations on your extra 450 points. Yeah, beet almost tastes like fruit. Yeah, and that's what I've heard is that beet actually has a lot of flavor to it. Because, I mean, you think about it, there's literally things called sugar beets that they make sugar with. Like, for cooking and all that. And that you can actually get syrup based on beet sugar and all that. So it's very clearly sweet. But yeah, to me, when someone, like, makes something with beets, it's like, oh, good. There's a big old fistful of dirt and grass in this. Yummy. But it's the same kind of thing as cilantro, where some people it just tastes like dirt. And understandably, if someone was like, eat this dirt, you'd probably be like, no, that's not very appealing. I think it will pass on the dirt sandwich. I would like my burger sans dirt, please. Yeah, so like, I may not have a favorite vegetable, but I can tell you, not the biggest fan of the beets. Alright, so because we stuck with spears the whole way through, I had to back off and rest. We were pushing to the point where it can get dangerous. Because the moment you push into high exertion, you're now on a clock that you either need to get away from or finish the zombies off, because you're in kind of a death spiral so far as your endurance. That if you can't break away or kill, and you hit high exertion, then you're pretty much done. Because what'll end up happening is you'll do like next to no damage because of the penalties, and you'll keep just getting more and more exerted till you hit what is like excessive exertion or whatever. Then you'll start getting sleepy because the more exerted you are, the faster you get sleepy. And it'll just death spiral you until finally you're walking at the point where the zombies keep grabbing for you every second until literally anything collides with you, causing you to slow down at all. And then, they successfully grab you and you're done. It's the two ways you die early on. Oh, that just reminded me. Fran had asked if what advice I'd give to new players. I can do the like new player introduction tutorial kind of thing that I used to do all the time. The first thing, my biggest piece of advice, if you do not remember anything else I recommend for you for having a longer survival, there are the two things I would recommend. The first is slow down in every meaning of that phrase. Drive slower. You don't need to rush to the next thing. The generator's not that important. You don't need to worry about getting those books. It's okay if the guns sit there another day. It's fine if you have to come back to your base later. Slow down. When you're starting to like act rashly and react and all that stuff, that's when you make mistakes and that's when you die. So take your time. This isn't a race, it's a marathon. You slow and methodical your way through it. And also, like, running just eats up endurance. And think of endurance as how many zombies you can kill before you die, like, before you have to sleep. And so if you burn that endurance just jogging around everywhere as opposed to fighting, well, now you're just giving up all that energy you need to fight, not killing the zombies, which puts you in a lot more trouble. Hey, buddy. Hey, bud. Alright, I'll just kill you. But, that's the first one. And the second one is anytime you die in the game, any single time you die in the game, stop and take a moment and go, okay, what led to this death? Not I got grabbed by a zombie, it bit me, and therefore I died. Yeah, sure, that's the physical action that killed you. But what was the thing you did that started the chain of events that got you killed? Did you try to skip a bunch of zombies and sneak into a place, and then they kind of separated you from your car, and, then you had problems breaking away from them, and yada yada yada, that eventually led to you getting grabbed? Did you go into a building without, like, taking the time to make some noise, make sure it was clear, that kind of thing, and so you ended up getting snagged that way? Like, just try and get a hold of, like, what was the thing, like, where was the decision that put you on the path that got you killed? That's what you're trying to figure out. And then once you reach that point, go, okay, what could I do differently next time to avoid putting myself in that situation? Let's see, yep, your first 4 days, you didn't leave, your starting building racked up 400,000 KC, super lucky fireman axes. Oh. Yeah. The next thing, and I'm kind of in a bad situation for showing it, so the next thing I'd recommend is under the display settings in the game, before you fight any zombies, go to your display settings. There is an area that says Weapon Outline. It starts, I believe, on long range only. Switch that to any weapon. And what that's doing is, if you notice when a zombie gets in range, it highlights. There's two reasons you want that. One is, especially if you're a new player, you don't know the ranges on the weapons. Some weapons range is very intuitive. Some weapons range is a little, like you might expect it to be a little longer and a little shorter than it really is. But also another important one is sometimes it's not always clear what zombie you are going to attack. Like when you have a zombie that's walking at you, a zombie that is climbing, you know, standing up, and a zombie that is crawling. And you just... It's just not super clear which one you're going to go for. And sometimes it'll go for ones you don't expect. Like for me personally, one of my complaints is sometimes you'll have a zombie crawling at you and a zombie that is actively standing up, and it will prioritize the one standing up. And I personally disagree with that decision. I personally feel like the zombie on the ground grabbing for you is the more immediate threat. And maybe it's changed over time, but it is those things that it'll let you know which one you're going to hit. And so that can be really helpful. If these zombies chill for just a second, I can get just one. I'll do the last part of the thing I kind of go with. I'm going to keep probably pulling these, and that'll just be what it's going to be. I mean, we're getting some good kills today, which has been a while because there's not many places I get that kind of concentration of zombies in the area because of how spread out they become over time. Alright, so we're going to try and draw this one away without aggroing another. Okay, so one thing to keep in mind when you're playing Project Zomboid is if I knock this zombie over and I stand on it, as long as that zombie is not a crawler, which is where they're on their stomach and they crawl at you, I can stand on it, and it is out of the fight. It cannot hurt me. I am fine. I'm gonna be interrupted, unfortunately, by this group. But that is true of if you stand on a zombie or if another zombie stands on a zombie. So especially early game when you find yourself without a weapon, you can knock down a zombie, and either you stand on it or get the other zombie to stand on it, and you can turn a 2v1 between the zombies and you into, you know, 2 1v1s. So it's a good thing to know. And then I would show you the other one. Oh, come on. Alright, so that's the last spear I actually have on my character. We've gone through the entire, like, 8 spears we had when we started this journey. Alright. And I'm not sure... There's a level of exertion that you can't shove your way through a zombie. But there's a mechanic where if you just run at a zombie... The one that died in the grass has spear. Oh, I'm not picking up the spears on the zombies. The spears on the zombies are actually worse than the spears you get. Because you get a stronger spear if you have good carpentry and you craft them. So in a pinch, obviously, use what weapon you can get your hands on. We're backing out. We're exerted. It's getting dark, and they just keep coming, and they just keep coming. Okay, but what you can do is if you hold shift and you run at a zombie, you can shove your way past a zombie. Normally I would demonstrate it, but between the exertion and being kind of forced back now, I'm not going to. But you can shove your way through a zombie. Do not be afraid to bully the zombies. If you got a horde on you, there's a zombie in the door, shove your way through it. Just run straight at it, just shift right at it, and just elbow your way past it. Very genuinely, that will save your life more times than you can imagine. That you just kind of bully your way through a lot. Hey, Karumi, how's it going? I do play Project Zomboid on the rare occasion, but it's like once or twice a month and usually only half a stream. Mostly it's build 42, waiting room, that kind of thing, but it's good seeing you. But yeah, so you can shove your way through zombies. Don't be afraid to do that. The only catches with that is when you shove past a zombie, your character goes off balance. And if you bump into a second zombie while off balance, or the same zombie a second time, which can get janky where that can happen, is you can trip. And then the danger is if you trip and there's zombies around while your character's standing up, you get grabbed and you die. But it's also, once you start elbowing and you're off balance, you don't really have proper control of your character. They're going to keep running 2 or 3 steps while they're off balance forward, and that's just what's going to happen kind of thing. But yeah. So that's just another thing, is don't be afraid to bully the zombies. It's just something you got to do. Like, even like if you realize you're in a bad situation where you've cornered yourself, it's not a bad strategy. Just go, okay, and then just run straight at the zombies to try and shove your way through. Obviously, try to aim for a good gap, that kind of thing. But yeah. Chris says, been playing a ton of RimWorld and Zero Seaver. You're almost trying to raise your record vanilla apocalypse run. You're being spoiled with normal loot settings. I mentioned earlier, once you get to a certain point in the game, it feels like loot no longer matters. That's part of the reason I don't worry about the loot settings anymore like I used to. Like, I used to tone it way down, but once you get a couple months into the game, loot's irrelevant. Early game it matters. Early game it hurts. But I just found it wasn't as relevant anymore. Like, I even did a run where I turned off the loot, just straight up said no loot, and had to forage for everything. And that didn't end up being harder. It ended up being, like, super tedious. I actually do not recommend those settings. He went to the baseball bat museum and factory. 230 baseball bats instantly. Yep. I don't use the baseball bats very often. Alright, so let's do a quick walk around, see if we get a zombie. If we do get a zombie, I'll demonstrate where you can elbow past one. If not, that's fine too. It's not a bad idea to do a lap around where you sleep. And anyone you could see from where you sleep should die. Just because those are zombies that go bump in the night. And even though you're supposed to wake when they bang in your doors and windows, unless, you know, you're, like, heavily intoxicated where... Okay, so we do have one. So let's go ahead and grab the zombie's attention. Hey, buddy. Hey, pal. Yeah, you heard me. Get over here. It's demo time. So yeah, so let's pretend for a moment I've got a horde of zombies. There's a door over there, and I need to get through it. And he's in the way. You just run, you shove your way right through. And as you can see, I'm not walking around him. My character is hitting him with their elbow and just kind of shoving their way past. So it is absolutely worth doing in a pinch to get around it. Do not be afraid to bully the zombies. Can it get you in trouble? Sure. Do you want to always do it? Probably not. But I will certainly tell you it has saved my life more times than I can count. It's just one of those things you do in Project Zomboid. So let's grab those spare spears. Alright. But yeah, you'll see me running this character a lot more than I normally run when I'm playing. You can't turn that on, right? Yeah. It's too far from the generator. That's fine. For the record, the lights in a room, whether or not they turn on, isn't based on the lights distant from the generator. It's based on the distance from the light switch. So in a giant room like this, if the light switch was over here by my generator, I would turn on all the lights for that room. Oh, and tents make really good portable beds. I always, like, as soon as I can get my hands in a tent, I want to get my hands in a tent. Because that means anywhere I can go, if I can close a door, I can catch some sleep. How's our weight going? Alright. Need both those stale rabbits. And it is pushing our weight up, but realistically, I could maybe push ourselves up to 84 that way. Alright, that's fine. And then we'd be on to just eating vegetables until the winter's over. Other nice things is books are extremely helpful. They're definitely worth going out of your ways with books. I actually will disagree with a lot of people. A lot of people go out of their way to watch the television programs at the beginning of the game. My general stance is all those skills you get from the television show are easy to level skills. So it's not worth the time. I would rather use that time that I'm babysitting the television to watch those shows to go get my early equipment, go for the generator magazine, try and secure a vehicle. All those other things, to me, are just more valuable than than anything related to the TV. So I just straight up, like, if I'm in a house that has a TV and the power is on and it's time, I'll turn it on if I'm standing there. But otherwise, I just completely ignore the television program as even being a mechanic. Alrighty then. So I'll do real fast is before we go into looking at switching games for the evening, because I do play more than one game per stream typically. Just in case, I don't want to leave you on a cliffhanger. We'll see if there is a helicopter. If there is a helicopter today, then we will do the helicopter event. You'll get an extra day. If there's not a helicopter, we will probably be switching games. It's also a thing that I don't want to push Project Zomboid too late. I am currently running today on literally 0 sleep. It's those things I had to wake up early, so of course, ADHD things, my body was like, no, we can't fall asleep. We have to wake up early in the morning. Stupid body. But as a result, I expect to go low energy. And, you know, that's not really conducive of not dying in a permanent death game. So, you know, we're not gonna do that. Right now I'm feeling perfectly fine, but I do realize there'll be at some point that lack of sleep catches up to me. That, you know, that'll be the point where I'll want to be putting, you know, doing something low risk, low effort, that whatever you want to go with. But that said, for those who are like, meh, I only want Project Zomboid. I've got my Spiffo tattooed on my butt cheek. Like, I've got Zomboid for life, you know, tattooed on my pecs. I understand, I get you. A lot of people have their game. That's fine. Project Zomboid will certainly be back on the channel more in the future. Don't worry about that. But that'll probably be it for Project Zomboid tonight. And I might just unilaterally make the decision that we'll be doing some farm sim tonight, because it's been a while since I've played. It's generally a good game for like chill, relaxing conversation, that kind of stuff. And that one we're also doing a challenge run. We're doing a 0 to hero run in that one. They call that one Survivor Man, but it's the same idea. You start with nothing and you build up from there. That one's been going on for a while. But so with that said, what I'm going to go ahead and do is for those watching over on YouTube, that stream will go down and then come back up when we switch games, because switching categories is pretty awful over there. It is what it is. But everyone over here on Twitch, if you just hang out for a minute, what we'll go ahead and do is we'll get everything switched over. But it's been fun to get back into some Project Zomboid. It's been